Lunch would be.
But what's the meal? It's like someone put it on the plate. You're
Least favorite breakfast meal.
I'm not gonna eat that.
Like a continental breakfast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing hot.
You don't like hot?
No, I do, but the continental is kind of like this, pastries and coffee, and that's it.
Yeah.
I want something warm. Eggs.
You feel cheated, right?
Yes.
Like a donut, you would be cheated?
Yeah.
In Vancouver, they have real authentic dim sum restaurants that people go to for breakfast, and it's the worst. Because it's a
Dim
lie.
sum's not really like a breakfast food.
It
But, like,
is. It actually
you guys
is.
don't like
brunch, but
You guys don't like chicken feet for breakfast?
No, and I don't like seeing
so
the sea urchin that
weird.
they're gonna serve me like pulled out of the tank and then they present it to me and then yeah, it's bad.
Does it have to be breakfast or?
No. He wanted
For me, it would be
Sunday.
a big plate of all the best gluten-filled things, like the perfect.
Are you talking about worst breakfast?
Yeah, because you can't.
Yeah, because I can't eat it
Oh.
because of the
Worst
gluten.
that
happens?
Right.
What happens if
Sorry,
you
I
eat it?
forgot that you didn't.
Do you
put
want
free.
how many details do you want?
None.
I call it a total system purge. That's what I call
It could
it.
be like beans. Like
Could be like a
you hate
medium
green
fry
beans.
for
You
that
can say
one.
green
No,
beans
no.
for food item. Just a food item you don't like.
Oh, food I don't like eggplant.
Yeah, I don't
Hate
like
it. I
It
hate
looks
it.
gross.
Breaded,
It's
fried?
weird
No?
and it makes my back kind of crawly, which is I don't know if that's psychosomatic or what. But
I think so.
it's
I don't
but I
think
actually
that's
get an
medical.
itchiness on my back.
If you
but
think-
it is a nightshade, so maybe it's a mild allergy.
Itchy is different than creepy crawly.
Oh no, itchy, like actually
Okay.
itchy. But that's what I'm saying. It could be psychosomatic.
If you
anyone
think
ever-
about it throughout at any point and your back gets itchy, just turn to me and I will scratch it for you.
I like having my back scratched. So, oh, my back's getting itchy right now.
What's yours?
Get on it.
worst breakfast.
Well, not breakfast.
Or just for breakfast, just nasty porridge, like grits. You know,
If it's too watery or something, or like
if it's too thick, if there's no water,
It's not like paste,
really
yeah.
in it. It's just slop.
You need that brown sugar on that porridge to make it.
No, I
And,
know.
and just a touch
Or
of cream.
maple syrup.
Boom.
Yeah.
But without that,
I'm
yes.
not- I don't like the cream on it.
Yeah, and then other than that,
Sorry,
anything
you-
kind of still
I'm not gonna
living
prevent
that's not really cooked
Yeah.
is nasty and
Runny eggs.
yeah, disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
What's your least favorite?
French toast that isn't cooked all the way through is disgusting.
Yes.
If it's made great, it's the best thing, like French toast.
Yes.
But if it's done wrong,
Yes.
you're like, this is just crappy bread.
Yeah, it's just
would-
soggy bread.
Which would lead me to mine, grilled cheese. I think it's the nastiest thing in the world.
Seriously?
Oh, grilled
It's,
cheese
it's
are great.
disgusting. It's
Yeah.
like
Really?
do you agree?
No.
Grilled cheese.
I was about to
is
give
great.
you a fist pound.
No, not on
David,
that one.
please.
No, I love cheese.
Well,
I melt it up.
I'm like a
Let's eat
monster.
it.
Everyone like treats me like a monster when I say that. They're like, "You just didn't try it right." I go, "No, it's gross," but I know I'm in the small group.
So what is it?
Consistency? What?
Well, it's just the fact that it's just gross. I'm not a big fan of cheese. That's-
Oh, there you go.
yeah.
You
so
like
it's-
pizza? You don't like pizza?
No, I like pizza, just not too
Lindsay.
much cheese though.
Cheese by itself.
But pizza's all about cheese.
It's about the sauce. You just forgot it.
Yes.
You know.
But you can put some ketchup on a grilled
What just
cheese, and
happened
it's
there?
kind of like
Yeah,
that?
ketchup. Grilled cheese
that?
without ketchup is
It's kinda
is
boring.
stupid unless it's a
blasphemy.
good quality
Ketchup should
cheese.
be on toast. That's the thing. So like you're all. I feel.
No, it's fine with the cheese though. Yeah, and because the toast is buttered too and then fried, like it's a different
Okay,
thing.
can I? This is sort of cheating. What if I said this is not really a food, but it's nasty, and I hope we all agree. Cheese whiz. That's the gross.
Ah,
food.
disgusting. Yeah.
The only
Cheese whiz,
kind I like-
Any kid.
Don't
from-
say you like cheese whiz, David.
I don't, but Mexican flavored cheese whiz,
What is
melted.
Mexican flavored?
Look it up.
Then it's probably not actually cheese whiz.
No, it is cheese whiz. It's cheese whiz, but the Mexican flavor, and then you melt it a bit for nachos, and it's like horrible, but like that goop cheese.
Is this a new product? Because it used to be able to
No,
just
this
put
is an old
salsa
product.
and cheese whiz together, and you got Mexican cheese whiz.
No, it's different, but
It's different.
No, this,
No,
this
it's
is a specific product that was out like I don't know, 30 years ago, 20 years
Oh,
ago.
really?
That I don't know if it still exists because I don't eat that crap.
What about Nutella?
No,
So
Nutella's
good.
good.
Great.
With a
I was never a
spoon.
Nutella kid growing
I
up.
feel like that's
ever,
like has
ever.
addiction written all over it.
Do you like Ferrero Rochers? Those little treats?
Yeah.
That's Nutella in the middle.
Is it?
Same
Hazelnut,
company.
yeah.
I just
No,
can't
it's
see
the- it's
myself
Nutella
smearing that all
specifically.
over bread. It doesn't make
It's the
any
same
sense
company
to
that
me.
makes them.
I would do
Yeah.
it like,
All
like
the
on a
kids-
tart, maybe like something like sweet, but not like
Yeah.
toast. I think that'd be nasty kind of thing.
All the kids in grade school were either Portuguese or, like the sort of European
The Italians.
Italians.
You can say it, yeah.
Italians, they all
Italian.
love the Italians.
Yeah.
No offense to anybody who's Italian. Well, you're Italian, but yeah, no, Nutella's disgusting.
Okay,
Well, sure, it's gross.
so hey guys, I'm Lindsay Lewis. Welcome to the show. I'm actually sitting beside some cool actors. Let's Drew Nelson, Jessica Greco, Jessie Greco, Dr. Jessie. What do you prefer?
Doctor. I like doctor.
Scientist, maybe.
No, doctor.
Doctor.
Yeah.
What if you were fired? What's your next gig?
Captain.
Captain.
Yeah.
Captain Jessica Greco. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Aaron Ashmore.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
You and I have something in common. We're both a twin.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I have a twin sister. You're actually the older one, right?
Yes.
I'm actually the younger one. So
Right on.
we could almost be like twins, maybe. Right?
Let's see.
I see
Let's see
it.
how it
Well,
goes.
these guys are identical. You're fraternal.
But
Nope. Technically, don't know.
What?
Don't know if we're identical or not.
They never tested him.
When you're
look
born.
at you.
Well, but technically.
Oh,
you can
really?
be very, very similar. When you're born, if there's one placenta, this is gonna get gross. If there's one placenta,
Yeah.
then you're obviously identical because the eggs didn't split.
Yeah.
You know, but we were cesarean, so they didn't check for that stuff. And you can do a DNA test to figure out for sure. But in high school, it was like $600-700, and we're like, forget about it. Now it's probably about $4. You can probably get it at
IDA.
Pharma Plus or something, whatever.
IDA, that's my choice.
But we don't know for sure, so maybe we should get on
Really?
that. Yeah.
I would bet that's $700.
Yeah.
that You guys are identical.
We just don't know for sure.
Yeah, okay.
I
Great. No,
wonder,
that's fair.
actually. I wonder. I'm not totally convinced that you're identical. I think that you might just be born at the exact same time, so you grew up and were the same age and had the same environmental influences.
what she's saying is we could be.
We could be
I
twins.
mean, this is just as close to Sean.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll walk around, pretend we're brothers. And I'll take some of his gigs. And,
Okay. Me too.
do it. Beside you is the lovely and talented
David Tompa.
David Tompa.
Yeah.
How are you doing today?
Good. Good. I'm good.
You look better in a vest, I thought.
I didn't wear a vest.
I asked
much to
one
your
thing of
dismay.
you in life.
You actually didn't ask.
No.
one thing of me.
When we met one time, I said, whenever I see you wear a vest, what are you wearing today, David?
What would you do if right now I unbuttoned it and revealed a vest?
I would like applaud you.
I wish I could do that.
I would
But
stand
I'm
and be
saving
like,
it for the end.
Okay, a lot of pressure. You've got to sneak out to get a vest because I know you don't have.
Does
a
anybody
vest
have
on.
any scissors? We could just chop off the sleeves, perhaps.
It's not the same, I don't think.
Can
Is
we
it the
cut your
same?
shirt, as Drew was saying?
No. I like these shirts.
Okay. Drew, so you recently you're working on the strain, right?
I am, yeah.
What was that like the first day you're on set? Because it's a pretty cool big project, right?
Yeah, it's a dream project. First day on set was the most incredible experience, really. I mean, I have a lot of scenes. I'm lucky enough to have a lot of scenes with Corey Stoll, who just was nominated for a Golden Globe, actually.
House of
for
Cards?
House of Cards. So the first day of scheduling for the entire project was the two of us shooting a couple scenes that we had in the first pilot, in the pilot, and it was just us shooting all night on Adelaide Street. Closed down streets, traffic was just like flooding the streets to sort of make it seem like New York, and it was just the two of us all night, and it was just it was incredible, man.
Yeah, that's a great way to start off.
Amazing way to start off, and I was really honored that they had scheduled for me to work the first night too. I thought that was really
Who's directing you?
just really nice. Yeah, Guillermo del Toro
Oh, who?
directed the pilot.
I don't even need to.
Oh, I think I
ask
heard of
questions.
him.
I
Yeah.
think I heard of him in all of my dreams.
He's unbelievable too, obviously.
So you were the first night of the strain shooting anything? Or that was
Yeah,
your
it was
first
just-
night?
So if you
We
messed
were-
up, it was like game over. So it'd be on you.
Pretty much, yeah. No. I thought I was gonna just be absolutely terrified, but we got through it really well. And Corey's a great guy, and Guillermo's really fun to work with, and yeah, it was just amazing, man.
Yeah, that sounds
Amazing
awesome.
experience, Yeah.
Jessica, so you had a film at TIFF, right?
Mm-hmm.
Called The Animal Project. And you recently did a tour about that. How was that like?
Well, we're on the tour actually. I just got
So
back.
the tour's right now.
I'm currently
This
I'm
is
on a
just not
layover.
here.
This
This is a hologram.
I'm phoning this one in, kids. I just got back from Whistler. My director just got back from Anchorage, Alaska, where we were, and in the new year we've got Argentina and Chile and Berlin, and we're taking it to the markets at Cannes, and I'm just traveling.
Damn.
Yeah.
How tired are you right now?
I'm like a 6.
A 6?
I'm
On
sitting
the
like a
tired scale?
On the tired scale.
Just 10 the most time?
Jessica, come on, you're a 10.
No, I'm not. Look how fresh I look.
That's what I'm saying. You're a 10.
Aw.
But her scale is saying how tired she is.
I know, but let him talk.
But you're excited about the project and just getting the word out.
Yeah, it's been a really great experience. it premiered at TIFF, like you said, and it's a really unconventional film made by Ingrid Menninger, and she just won the EDA award for it, which is amazing. It was given by the Association of Women's Journalists in Film, and so like Catherine Bigelow's got it, Sarah Polley's been given it,
wow,
now Ingrid's been given it. Yeah, it's really great, and it's a cool little movie, and you don't usually get to travel to promote films, Canadian films especially.
Canadian, yeah.
So it's been really great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so TIFF, David, you actually had a short in TIFF, right?
Yeah, that's
All
right.
out?
Yeah.
I saw that in Whistler.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, wicked. Nice.
Yeah.
Jeremy Lalonde is a writer-director, and I've known him for years, and he's constantly writing. He has so many projects out all the time, and he had a feature film in TIFF called Sex After Kids, which he just found out it's being released in Toronto in February. And
14th, right?
February? No, I think it's the 4th.
Oh, okay.
Or 8th.
I thought I saw something today online. I thought
Was
it was
it the 14th? Maybe I was wrong.
I think it was Valentine's Day, but
Oh,
I don't know
okay,
for sure.
cool.
I'm not involved.
That's
But I just
smart.
thought
That would be smart.
I thought
Sex
I saw
After
it.
Kids.
You're also in
Valentine's Day.
Sex After Kids.
I am also in Sex After Kids. That's true. Yeah. Well, that wasn't at TIFF. What am I talking about? No,
That was at Whistler.
That's been at Whistler. Yeah, that was at every place in Canada except TIFF.
So you've just lied to the people. Now they know how I feel about the vest.
Right.
You lied about being in TIFF.
It's all coming back.
No, I was in TIFF, but with the short out, which was also by
No,
Jeremy
and
Lalonde.
I was saying that you were in that. But
Yeah, that
You
one.
also then said that.
No, I know. We're moving on.
It's actually, you did a short called The Ravers, right? And it actually was on.
That's
Funny or
right.
Die.
Yeah, it was featured on Funny Die on the homepage a month ago or something like that. And that's something that a buddy of mine, Mark Bethune, wrote and directed.
That was one of the guys, the football guys in the
The
locker
football
room.
guys, yeah, just trying to call out this whole thing that everyone's like, oh, are gay people and are they allowed to be out?
Not
in
in
the
professional sports.
And basically the whole idea is like the game isn't going to change. Like why are people panicking here? Like what's going to be different if this comes out? Like nothing's going to change.
So was there a good reaction to it, like the short?
Yeah, it was a great reaction to it actually. And we were like, we always wanted to make sure, because it's a controversial topic, and we wanted to make sure that our intentions were where we wanted them to be. And I was saying, like, look, no matter what happens, we're going to get haters, probably from both sides. And so the idea is that we're strong with what our intention is, and people are going to take it however they take it. And as long as there's a dialogue, that's the idea of most of these things, is to stimulate the dialogue and keep it in focus so that we can get it out there.
If you're not getting a reaction, like you're always getting a good or bad kind of thing. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. If you've done your job, you'll get a reaction. Anything that's worthwhile. But the problem is when people go for a reaction, they skip all the story and the intention and all that, and they just go for a reaction, and then that's to me a misuse of the medium to do that. It's no good.
Awesome. So we often talk about what it's like working on a show, but for Aaron, you've worked on like 2 TV shows for a bunch of years. What's it like leaving a show like Smallville and Warehouse 13? What's it like ending being a part of that family and the crew?
Yeah. No, it's always tough leaving something like that, because you do form strong bonds with people, and it becomes a big part of your life. So that's always tough. I was thinking about it the other day about when you play characters for a long period of time too, how afterwards, because I'm just kind of going through that now a little bit now, you kind of have to check yourself, like where you're at and stuff, because if you play something and you think about this character for so long, you kind of take on some of that stuff, and when you're finished, you have to kind of be like, okay, where am I sort of in this thing? And again, it's not something that you plan to do, but I think that's kind of what happens sometimes. But it's great to be a part of stuff and do things for a long time. That's sort of a goal, in a way to have long-lasting, jobs and stuff like that. But it's also exciting to move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Or the possibilities, who knows, right? And as much as it's amazing to have these long-term jobs, it is what it is. It usually becomes sort of a routine or the same thing in certain respects. So it's very exciting to get out there and just see what's out there, if there are things out there. If not, it's depressing as hell.
Nothing out there. There's nothing out there.
Yeah, imagine how challenging it is to go from episode to episode and really try to make it as fresh as possible each time.
It is.
When you're part of a family on a show and stuff,
Yeah.
and it's like sort of upping the standard on your own process and your own work.
It's
just
really
constantly kind of staying
Yeah, it's really hard, and
Spontaneous,
there's
yeah.
something where it's like episode-itis or whatever, like the kind of thing where,
You don't know where you were at.
well, you're just doing this because the characters is the character, and unless they're giving you incredible stuff to work with and really like progressing the character, it's sort of the similar stuff. You're interacting with the same characters all the time in similar scenarios, so you end up doing the same thing, and it works and it's real because that's sort of what everybody's established. But to try and step out of that, it's kind of hard, and that's where you have to put a lot of work in and think about stuff, and sometimes you do it and sometimes you don't, but it's good to be aware of that.
Right.
Because you'll see other people falling into those things too that you work with, and you'll be like, oh yeah, I kind of see that they're in this thing, but you don't always think about yourself.
So what do you do to kick yourself out of that? Like, just imagine him on a bad day, or like.
I think it's just a thought process to just remind yourself of that,
Oh,
and then
okay.
try and look for different ways of exactly, like just kind of different ways of attacking the same situation with the same characters. And sometimes it's if the other actors are doing something, like having conversations with them about like, hey,
Right.
what can we do? Like we've done this a couple times this year, this basic type scenario. What do you guys think? Like how can we attack this differently? And sometimes people are into that, and sometimes they're like, nah, I'm just gonna do, you know what I mean? So it's just, but it's a lot easier when other people are sort of on
willing
board
to-
with you in that,
willing
and
to do that.
some actors are, right? They really want to kind of push those things and not fall into those ruts, but I think we all sort of do at times. And
Yeah, I guess you start to really recognize your go-tos and
oh yeah,
callbacks.
and especially if you watch stuff, like I don't watch everything that I do, but there's certain things that I want to see how it turned out, and then when you watch that and you're like, that's not as exciting, or that's not, you know what I mean? When you see that stuff and you're like, oh, I really have to switch out of that
Right.
and try something different. So
That's my safe zone.
yeah.
There's it seems like there's a real demand. Like once it's in series, that the directors that they hire are hired just to get the day, under X amount of hours. Like I guess under 10 hours or 12 hours or whatever, if not more. But like it's a real demand on you. Like on The Strain, when Guillermo directed, it was such a stark difference from him directing the pilot to the guy that we just worked with on the latest 2 episodes, and it's just like it's a real demand on you to really be on top of your stuff.
Yeah.
And
Is that really the director's job as opposed to the producer or whoever? Or
yeah, I mean, like the director we just worked with, this great guy David Semmel. He is an American guy, and he actually was he's a nice meld of the two. Like he was really quick working, like really knew all his shots. He would skip different certain coverage pieces of coverage because he knew exactly how I was going to edit together. So he was really on it. He was really
Cool.
But he also gave us really good acting notes too. So, but I'm just curious, like on a whole length of a series, you got all these different directors coming in, and it's like.
I think it takes a ballsy TV director, to come in and do acting notes and like really talk about character, because there's ego always involved, and so for like the leads of a show, or like say you or I were a director and we go in to direct an episode of a TV show, do you think I wouldn't think that I would know these characters
As well as you
better than these actors that have been played them?
true.
But the actors that come in and do their research, know the shows, and put some thought into it, well then they can actually suggest some really interesting things and whatever.
Right.
But I've had directors come in on shows that I've been like long term on, and they just come in and do an episode or two, and they're telling me to do things. Oh, that's do this, and I'm like, you obviously have not seen
Previous
what I've done the
episodes,
first 6 episodes, and like it's not a bad directing note that they're giving,
Yeah.
but it makes sense if you're
It's
just
not
taking this
cohesive.
episode out of context, but
Right.
throughout it doesn't make any sense, and then
To your character, right? Like,
yeah,
out of context.
it doesn't make any sense. And then that's kind of when you start to be like, well, fuck you, like you didn't do your homework or whatever, and so don't tell me, you know what I mean? It kind of creates a bit of a
I'm
thing.
curious, how would you handle that without saying F you? I'm hoping you wouldn't say it, but I mean, maybe you did.
Well, I think
You said F you and it didn't work. Then what?
Or how do you
Yeah,
say
yeah, yeah.
without saying F you, how do you invoke that and say,
well,
let's
you can
work
say
together?
I think you say I'll give it a try, sure, like let's try that a little bit, but also you can say, you know what, I did this and this and this and this in the previous episode, so that doesn't make sense here. If you really want to see that, I'll do that, and then you kind of do it shitty. Because you don't want to piss anybody off, and they might come back and they might be a good director, but you don't want to sacrifice what you're doing or what you're trying to do to appease a director because they haven't done their homework.
Totally.
But there's some directors that come in that can push your buttons in really positive ways and do things and tweak things, and that's the best. But I never expect that in TV, because it's been my experience. It doesn't happen a lot.
You gotta make the day.
Yeah, and it's ballsy for them to step in and say, why don't you do this or why don't you do that? Because there's just like so many other people sort of involved, the writers, the producers, and then the actors that have, what they think and what they should do. So yeah, it's ballsy when.
But also, the way I tend to think of it is that you're the expert of the character, and not just because it's a long-term series, but because you're the actor. And you're always the expert. An actor is always the expert of their character.
Right.
And the director is more the expert of the story.
Sure.
And in this case, but now, if they don't have information because they didn't do their work about the overall story, then that's not so cool. And if you inform them of those elements, then if they're a good director, they're gonna see that, okay, well, this doesn't make sense then for my story that I'm trying to tell.
Absolutely.
So if they're doing their job, they're focusing on the story. They're not focusing on the characters. Just how the characters combine.
Or to manipulate. Well, manipulate's maybe not the correct word, but to but I actually think that directing is is manipulating. I mean, when you see something put together or whatever, it's like, sometimes you need to do what. Like a lot of times it's like, and again, I think that manipulating sounds like a negative thing. I didn't particularly try to put it out there in a negative thing, but it's sort of molding or changing or whatever, and getting what you need out of people, and sometimes that's
like Oliver Stone, for instance, he just torments his actor. You heard the stories, right? He'll take someone aside and be like, "Hey, how about you stop acting like fucking shit, wasting my time on my set." Like horrible stuff. That either is going to kill the performance or completely motivate the actor to just go and tear it up the next take,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's notorious for that. Yeah. That's crazy.
You got to do what you got to do. I mean, ultimately, and directing is I mean, that term, what it actually means is like, trying to push someone in a direction, right? Trying to push them in a certain way, and either you push or you pull or you tweak or you entice, or there's so many different ways to do that, to elicit that. So, and it depends on the moment, depends on the actor. And certain actors, you don't want to give them too much information. And certain actors, you want to give them all the information because you know that they are going to take that and do something with it. So it really depends.
All right, so just because we're gonna have some fun today, but so what's one scene in any movie? It doesn't have to be a big one, or it doesn't have to be serious or whatever. But what's one scene that you just love as an actor? Like for me, the scene that I always love watching is Jim Carrey in Dumb and Dumber. The moment there's a scene where he starts crying and then he makes you laugh, and it's a beautiful scene in Dumb and Dumber, and it always stays with me. So for you guys, what's a scene?
Fish Called Wanda.
What's the scene in it?
Fish Called Wanda. That whole movie's genius. It's one of the best comedy feature films of all time. But there's a scene somewhere in the middle where John Cleese's wife and daughter are going out to see the opera, and he's invited Jamie Lee Curtis over, and they're gonna have this special night together, and and then everything goes wrong. Everything goes completely wrong. The wife comes back because they've had a flat tire, and then Kevin Kline, who plays Jamie Lee Curtis's brother, is there, but John Cleese doesn't know him. He's never met him, but he's there to make sure stuff goes right. So when John Cleese can't come up with a good excuse for to cover what's going on, then Kevin Kline comes out to help him, but John Cleese doesn't know who he is. There's this, the whole scene's amazing. There's so many good parts in it, but the one part that I love is when the wife and Kevin Kline are on either side of John Cleese, and he's trying to help out, and John Cleese has no clue and he's just sitting there listening to them, and then he kind of disappears. He's holding the champagne, and he just sort of disappears, and it's the most brilliant, hilarious moment as he disappears, as these guys are trying to work everything out. And then also the part where Kevin Kline he says he tries to make up a name. Who are you? And he says, "My name is Mr. Manfred Jensen." He just throws it away like that. And then later on in the discussion, John Cleese's wife says, "My father was a member of the Secret Service, Mr. Manfred Jensen." It's brilliant. It's absolute comic brilliance. The scene and the movie, but that scene in particular.
What about you other guys? What's the scene that
I don't know. The first thing that kind of came to my mind was Glenn Ross, a scene between Al Pacino and Ed Harris, when Moss is trying to sort of clamber his way up and just sort of put him in his place, and he just kind of eggs him on. That scene for me is just so strong.
Do you think you could
Yeah.
pull that off, that scene?
I want to play Moss at some point in my career. Yeah, when I'm like in my 40s.
Cool. I'll do the Jack Lemmon part.
Awesome.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah,
amazing.
let's do it.
That'd be super fun. We got another
Let's do it.
10 years
Yeah,
before.
we got quite a long time.
Yeah.
Before we can earn our right to play those roles.
Exactly,
But,
exactly.
Yeah, that was the
Absolutely.
first thing that came to my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You too?
I don't know. It's a Jessica.
There's a scene in Adaptation where Meryl Streep is high and she calls Chris Cooper on the phone because she's trying to make the dial tone sound and she can't make it by herself.
Oh, yeah.
That's
And
good.
she needs another voice to make the dial tone sound, and so they harmonize together to make it. And it's actually a love scene, like it's a beautiful love scene, and they fall in love, but they're on the phone, and she's completely high the entire time. And I just love that. I love that it's a love scene and they're not in the same room
Yeah.
at all. I think it's beautiful, and I love Meryl Streep high. I really do.
Meryl
She's
Streep.
been high in a
pretty
few
awesome.
movies. She's pretty great always, but something about her all girly and high on a bed rolling around is amazing.
She could be like on the toilet and I'd watch her. You know, like she's like compelling no matter what.
Great, we learned something about you.
That's, yeah, it does say a lot.
Usually people say read the phone book, but that's also another.
I've never
I
heard
don't
that.
know. I just first thing that came to my mind, man. I don't know.
Meryl Streep on the toilet. That's her
Sorry,
next movie. If it
Meryl.
happens to if
Sorry.
that happens in the next movie, everyone's gonna know like Drew's like so happy right now.
Sorry guys, enjoy the rest of the interview.
What do you got?
I don't know. That's sort of like a really tough.
It doesn't have to be your favorite scene, but just
Yeah.
a scene that you kind of enjoy that
Well,
just stuck with
Anything
you.
from planes, trains, and automobiles too. That's
By the way.
It's funny
Give us a
how-
second.
Fifth Element.
yeah. Sorry, it's Aaron's time.
I watched this movie. I've seen it a bunch of times, but I just watched it recently called Moon. Have you guys seen it? It's like.
Oh, yeah,
Sam
Sam
Rockwell.
Rockwell.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's just he's acting with himself in the movie, and it just the way he interacts with himself, and just there's physical stuff, and just the sort of disdain that these two guys have for each other, but they're basically the same person and stuff. And just watching that, I was like, I couldn't imagine doing it and making it work. Like I'm just like in my mind, it's just like I have no idea how you would do this. Like it's so unfathomable. Like outside of any element that I would understand how to do this. Like really to make it work. So watching that, I'm just like, it's just insane. It's really
The
insane.
scene where they play ping pong.
Yes, yeah.
It's my favorite.
I know.
Because he's himself, but it's himself after everything's gone horribly wrong and himself fresh and new.
Yeah, exactly.
And the way that his body is,
Yeah.
how they're playing the
Yeah.
ping pong.
Yeah.
Because the one guy's practiced and the other guy hasn't. It's
Yeah.
just.
And you know
it's
he's so
perfect.
like
Yeah,
sort of amped
the
up.
new
and-
guy, and
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
and,
yeah.
and then the other guy's like he's so relaxed.
Yeah,
he's
he's-
just and he's just it's
And
so brilliant.
he's kind of the guy who's like a little more relaxed. I think is just kicking the other guy's ass.
Well, and
bit, or-
also not only is the scene brilliant, but like,
Mhm.
between the two characters, but also like there's no ping pong ball.
No.
Because he can't play
Can't
with
play with
himself.
himself.
So he has to film the one side, then film the other side. So
Yeah.
they're pretend the technical aspect
Yeah.
of that is insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
So stuff like that makes me be. I mean, there's so many performances that you're like, I don't know how somebody did that and like to achieve that. But something like that's just so trying to put yourself in those positions and try and play two characters against each other with nobody. It's just that stuff insane.
Sorry, I know you're moderating, but what's the role that you watch that you're like, I don't think I could ever do that? Is it the moon scene for you?
Yeah. Well, there's
Yeah.
tons of things that I'm just
Yeah.
that I'm like I could do that, but
Yeah.
it would not be what
That.
this is. I could never get into that space or you know.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting thing, you know, like sometimes when you audition for something, you're like, I could have, you know, why didn't I get that? And then you see sometimes, or like people do stuff and you're like, that's why, because they had some other level or some other thing that just made it totally come to life, even though you wanted it and you would have done a good job at it, but not in that same way. And I see that stuff all the time
Right.
in performances where I'm just like, damn, that's just, I don't know. I don't know how they did it. Or I could never do what somebody else did. And
Yeah,
that's-
you need to do what you do.
yeah, exactly. You know, and just it's amazing to see some of that stuff where you're just like.
So I'm glad you said audition, because the next question I have for all you guys is, what's your worst audition or experience on set? What you guys got? Like
You guys
that
get
moment-
you guys get the fear ever on set, or you know, where you just get that. I mean, it happens on auditions. I think a lot of the time, or it over the years it has, because it's, you know, you got one shot, right? You got 2 minutes. Maybe they're going to work with you. Probably not a lot of the time, right? You just go in. So you get the fear. Like all of a sudden you're like, I've rehearsed this for so long. Yeah, the heart starts going, the adrenaline. And then I always go in there and I'm like, I can feel my heart just going like crazy and the blood flowing through. But then I'm like, I got to just stay calm. So you do your thing with this flush of adrenaline. And you're like, I have no idea if I'm going too fast, if I'm being flat because I'm trying to fight these impulses, this adrenaline or whatever. So you're like, I actually don't know what I did. So those are the worst. And it's never, for me, the ones that I think I'm going to be really nervous about. It's like these random ones, and I'm sometimes where it's like, I don't even really care about this one too much. I didn't think about it, but all of a sudden, when they're like, you're on deck, or they call your name, something just happens, you know? Something is just released, and the adrenaline starts going, and you're like, oh my God, I gotta calm myself down. So that happens quite a bit. That's sort of like a terrible experience every time it happens.
But was there anything like you slipped on a banana peel or something, like, or did any of you guys have any, like, a moment that really sticks out going like, I just want to be alone and like this is like in front of people or in an audition, like?
I definitely have a story, but if you guys want to.
Whatever. I had a few, but
You look like you
there's
have
one.
Yeah.
There's one in particular that was it was for a commercial actually, and I had a little mini monologue for some kind of nutritious bar or something, but they wanted a silly accent, whatever that means. So I picked Irish because I could sort of do it. I don't know. Well, and in the commercial world, you know, Scottish and Irish are kind of silly accents. And then but I was this little mini guy on the table, and so they had this beach ball for the blueberry and this like water weenie for like a straw. And so there are these props and the accent and the monologue. And I'm doing it, and it's just going like it's going so bad. It's going so bad, and the accent's in and out, and I can tell. And I'm having trouble working with these props because I've never worked with them before, and I'm remembering the words. And halfway, it was so bad that about halfway through, I stopped and I dropped my props, and I just leaned over and I was like,
Panic attack.
And then I got back up and finished it. It was
With your
just
Irish accent?
it was with my horrible Irish accent. It was just it was a nightmare. I was broken in sweats, and yeah, it was just it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare.
I auditioned for, I can't remember what it was. It was like the Princess Diaries or some sort of thing, like, you know, one of those. I can't remember.
Hathaway was in?
Well, I don't know if it was that or like
Before
some
she was
sort of-
Anne Hathaway.
some sort of like where you were having to play this like really charming British or whatever sort of character. And so it's like an accent thing where I started to do the accent, and when you're at home working on it, it sounds pretty good. It sounds pretty good because you can really, you know, there's not any other distractions or whatever, so you're really focused on it. But when I started to do it in the audition, I can't remember who the casting director was, but about halfway through the scene, all I heard was like a It wasn't a funny scene. And I was like, fuck. And talk about just getting like demoralized and just like all your confidence
And
just
it's hard
getting
because it was
wiped
the
out.
middle of the scene, so you're
Thanks for
like,
the help.
I guess I have to continue.
Well, no, I didn't. I stopped. I was like, because I knew. I was like, this is bad. I was like, so should we even do this? Like, is this laughable? Because if this is laughable, that's totally cool. I get it. Then let's not do it. And she's like, no. Like, go ahead, being very nice, of course. But that's just stuff where you just like, what are you supposed to do? You know it's bad. You know it's terrible.
Get through it.
Yeah, you just like
Some shredded dignity and go home.
Oh no, well the dignity was was gone, but just get through it. It can be quite embarrassing.
Dr. Greco?
Oh god, my worst audition was actually a tape. It was something I was putting on tape.
Wow.
I was like 17 and a half, and I was putting myself on tape to be Janis Joplin. The Janis Joplin story, they were remaking it, making it. I don't think they ever ended up making it. They were always talking about making it. Anyway, I got it in my head that I needed a bottle of SoCo as a prop. So it was like Jan 3rd, and I went to the liquor store with my fake ID and bought the only SoCo they had left was a 40 of Senator Hopper. And I was 17, so I had no concept of my own tolerance, really. And
no.
so I took it in, and it was 3 scenes, and we did 3 takes of each scene, and I took a slug from the bottle on
God.
every take. And by like the last scene, I'm sitting on the floor, like this, doing it. And Christian Potenza and his wife are waiting in the hallway, and they're gonna put themselves on tape right after me. And I thought I was going to go back to school because I was still in school. So I had like my kilt and everything with me. I had like Janis Joplin wear, and then I had my school uniform and my hair all teased out, and I was drunk as a monkey. And so I put my uniform back on, but I couldn't go back to school because I was drunk, and I couldn't go home because I was drunk. So Christian Potenza drove me to my agent's office and like poured me onto the steps of my agent's office and was like, deal with her. And I had to sleep it off on the agency couch
Oh man.
because I was so wasted.
That's
And I
hilarious.
didn't get the part.
That's weird
Mark
because
leading
They didn't make it.
Sorry?
Yeah. Because it didn't make
That's
sense.
why.
I
But you
don't
would've,
know, but I don't
because-
know. I was just a drunk 17-year-old, but I
You would
thought
have been a
I was,
perfect James
Yeah.
Joplin.
But that's what I thought I was like doing all this great work, and really I was just like a slobbering 17-year-old with a bad perm. It was-
Maybe, was there
Her
really
lady
real, or
is-
did you want to drink? Like,
Sorry?
Maybe you just wanted to drink. And there was
No, I
something-
really thought, because you know, you're 17, you think that you have to like really go there and really commit, and if you're gonna play a homeless kid, you have to spend the night on the street. Like you have these insane ideas about being committed as an actor when you're young and you're acting and you're being asked to do these adult things. And I just thought, like, yeah, obviously I'm from playing Janis Joplin, I would have a bottle of Southern Guard, drink it, because that's what you do. It's not what you
Just
do.
get drunk.
It's
Amazing.
not what you do.
That's not what you do, as it turns out.
It's a terrible idea.
Well, so but that was a good lesson though. You learned
It was
a
a
good
good
lesson.
It was a bad audition. It was a good, lesson.
Right.
Yeah.
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 Good.
Oh man.
Did you get drunk? Did you
No.
get drunk for anything?
No, it's way far embarrassing than that. So there's, well, first off, definitely the most nervous I've ever been was for the strain because Guillermo, I heard wanted to meet me in person, so I didn't know what to expect. So I, got really prepared for it and did it, and so that there was that story in terms of being like the most nervous. But the most embarrassing. There was this film called Miracle that was casting. I don't know if
The
I've told
hockey
you guys.
one?
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I think I've told you this story.
Maybe,
before,
I don't know,
like,
I don't know.
In drunken nights that we've had. But so it's a hockey movie. It's a Disney hockey movie, and the first audition went really well. The acting aspect of it, and I got called probably a week and a half later that they wanted to see an on ice callback, and I haven't been on skates in 15 years, let alone ever skated with a hockey stick in my hand at the same time. So like, God bless her, she was like a friend of the family. We did this crazy boot camp of hockey practice and things like that for about a week to get prepped. And I was feeling pretty confident. I could kind of, overlap my skating as I was turning around in a circle. I was pretty advanced. I barely knew how to hockey stop. So we get to the rink early in the morning, and I'm in a sea of these like AAA, AA, like semi-professional skaters, the hockey players who are also actors. So I'm like, I'm fucking doomed, man. I'm so doomed in this. And all I can remember, my only real memory of that, because I'm trying to block it out as much as I can. But, so we were all lined up in single file, and each person had to go through a specific drill. And the drill was you do a skate, you do circle around the one circle, and then you do figure eights, right? Essentially figure eights around the circle. Then there's a puck in the middle. You go to skate up to the puck in the middle, and you go and skate. And you're supposed to shoot on an open net, right, and score. So I'm up next, and every guy ahead of me is just killing it. Like, they're just incredible. And so I'm up next, and I'm doing the figure eights, and I fell. And I got up quickly, and it's being videotaped, by the way, too, by Disney. So I'm doing my figure eights, and I'm doing okay. I fell probably 3 times. Then I go and I go and I skate to the puck, and I fell on the way to the puck, and I got back up, and I get the puck, and I'm kind of sort of just inching the puck with my stick, right? And I go to take the shot, and I ended up in the net instead of the puck. No, I'm not kidding. No word of a lie. It was the most embarrassing thing.
Can we
ever.
see this on
And then I
Did you
remember
get
just
it?
like, no, God, no, are you kidding me? And then I like crazy in my mind, I thought that maybe they wanted like sort of a, comedic relief on the team guy that like has no talent
Did
whatsoever.
you sell it that way?
So-
Going, that was on purpose.
Yeah, I know.
It's a
I
choice.
remember
It's a
getting
choice.
out of the net, like getting pure shame, and just kind of like rising up and just being like, yeah, and every other guy was just like, this guy.
Get off the
Yeah,
ice,
get
loser,
off the
that
ice.
kind of shit.
Wow.
You have no chance in hell. So
Dude.
Who brought the American?
that was definitely the most
So
embarrassing.
now do you think you train for all sports just to be ready for any audition? Like, are you
No.
playing basketball left and right?
I did a basketball movie, but I had played basketball before, so I kind of kind of knew that. I knew
Croquet?
that.
What about
croquet?
I'm just trying to give you.
I'd
an
have
sport.
to go to school.
Pretty
on
good
that.
at croquet.
Yeah,
You're good at
yeah,
croquet?
yeah.
Very good.
I'm just lucky.
Ping pong, however.
The
I'd
way
love to
the
do
way I
ping pong.
look, I don't get called in for sports
it.
auditions. So
Who do you
which
get?
is
Who
lucky.
do you get? Like, what's your most common audition? Like, you guys get brought
I
in for?
well, I get it because I'm more charactery, so I get different things. I get like the funny, shy, awkward guy. I get the professor or social worker or psychologist, therapist, or that kind of thing. Smart,
guy.
Yeah.
smart, but friendly.
Intelligent, yes.
Smart but friendly.
Approachable.
Non-threatening.
But then I'll also get the cracked out sketchy serial killer.
Yeah, I
or,
can
you know,
see.
stuff
I
like
can
that.
see Dave playing a serial killer. I don't know if it's something in his eyes or.
Nuzzle him.
Yeah, so it's sort of all it's a bunch of different areas, and depending on the casting director, like there are a few that bring me in for different kinds of things, but there are some that bring me in, like Deirdre Bowen almost exclusively brings me in for like sketched out crazy people, and there's certain.
And does it ever hurt you? Go like, I'm an okay guy, or like, is there like?
No,
do
I
you
don't
take it
care
away?
about that. I'm an actor. I want to do that. I don't want to. I mean, there's a certain joy in playing yourself in sort of your everyday life.
Because you're a murderer in real life.
No. But then there's but
Words in your-
officially, I'm not allowed to talk about it. No, but then there's an amazing part of being able to explore all those parts of yourself that you don't get to use in your everyday life, or you choose not to use in your everyday life. But to go in and I love it. I love going in and playing someone like super fucking creepy, someone that wants to get under your skin and like peel it back and whatever. Like that's fun. And then also I love playing like goofy and awkward, and so it's being able to do all those things. Like that's part of why I like acting is the variety of it, and why I kind of can see what you're saying in terms of doing the same character for years.
Yeah.
And I could see what an amazing opportunity and what you can develop there, but at the same time like being able to go and do this and then do this completely opposite thing and do this and that, and I find that fascinating and fun.
Have any of you other guys had a role, or like you constantly go in for this kind of role? Like you guys have like, and you're like, I'm not surprised. Like David is awkward serial killer, nice guy, apparently.
I think that you get to do all sorts of different stuff, but based on the way you look and your age. Come in here.
We're all friends.
I think the based on the way that you look and your age and all that stuff, you basically are sort of typecast in a way. Obviously,
So you're not
like
going in for 60-year-old woman.
No, well, not yet. But there's even things like, I'm 34 years old. Could I play a cop or a lawyer, or like in real life? Could I be those things? Yeah. But when I go in for those things, too young. So it's like sometimes you get typecast out of things because of just the way you're looking or like whatever.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I mean, there's only really in most TV and film and all that kind of stuff, like a range of things that this age group and this sort of look will play. So like Dave said, when you get a chance to do some of those other things that are a little rarer or for you, like just based on how you look or whatever, if somebody gives you a chance to try something different or bring you in and see you in those ways, that's awesome. But most of the time, everybody kind of boxes you into a certain thing a lot of the time. You have to kind of push against that as much as you can.
I found that a lot when I was younger. Like in like teens to early 20s, I played a lot of prostitutes.
Drunks?
I played a lot of but like prostitutes or drug addicts or like these sort of victimized women, which I think in retrospect was because those were the good roles. Like those were the really sort of meatier parts. Like they were writing sort of pretty girls who were safe and innocent, or they were writing bad girls, and I got cast in a lot of the working class bad girl stuff. And like Romanian sex trafficked workers, or turn of the century but prostitutes was sort of my
heavy.
Yeah, it was my profession of choice. But it wasn't.
Well, we are actors.
We are, and I would look different in all of them, but for some reason those were sort of the good parts. And then when I got into my late 20s, there weren't many roles, and now that I'm in my 30s, I get to audition to be or play moms or people with jobs, or I start to audition for lawyers or cops, where it felt like for the first half of my career that just wasn't an option. So the roles that were good, that were out there, not even just available, but just the good roles, were always sort of hypersexualized younger like women.
Yeah.
Which in retrospect is sad, to say that those are the only good parts out there for girls.
But were they hypersexualized, the parts you're playing, or those tend to be the parts that are not hypersexualized, but the parts that are incredibly emotional or incredibly
Both. They would be
rough
both.
or raw
Yeah.
or things like that?
So it would be the kind of thing where you would get to play those emotions or those scenes or that kind of range,
Yeah.
but it was under the context of sex. Like there was some sort of element to the character that was grounded in sex and her sexuality
Sure.
versus something else, some other outside act of nature or violence or circumstance.
Right, so you weren't going in to play waitress at the
Who gets
the-
held hostage?
The shitty,
no.
Oh, really?
It was,
Okay,
it was
okay.
very often like victims of violence or sexual abuse.
Huh.
Yeah. Yeah. And those were the good parts. And they still kind of are the good parts because you get to play that, opus of emotion.
Interesting. You guys like anything that just
For me, it's like I don't know. I've been really lucky. I've never really been pigeonholed. I find if I have facial hair, then I'm going in for like baddies. If I'm clean shaven, I'm going in for guys in suits or young cops or something that have a hidden agenda. I'm always going
You're not
for
a clean
guys
cop.
that have a hidden
corrupt.
agenda.
It's
You're
the jaw.
It's
For
it's
sure.
no, it's the
Jaw says hidden
eyebrows.
agenda.
The eyebrows.
The eyebrows.
No, it's the jaw.
Yeah.
he's gonna steal my money.
The eyebrows. It's like there's an
But
edge. Whatever you're playing, there's
it's
an edge.
fun. I'm lucky. I've never really been pigeonholed.
But you'll never be a hockey player.
No, God,
You
no.
shot your
Maybe if I
reputation.
grew out my hair nicely.
Just at the back.
A
You
mullet.
just have to grow it at the back. Or
Whatever
Or the-
happened to mullets? Remember when that was in style?
It never was. It
Yeah.
should've-
No.
I think it
no,
was
then the
live.
soccer mullets came back though. All those
That's what
European.
I'm
You
saying.
have to be
Oh,
European.
Yeah, the
now.
European
you have
mullet.
To be,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
white
mullet.
boys. You need to be a tanned, like,
Yeah.
Ecuadorian
I don't
or-
think it looks good
or
on anybody, but
Italian guy.
it's a look. It's a strong, committed look to
Yeah, like
have
black.
it.
Yes, a lot of great guys had the
Yeah.
mullet.
Beckham.
Anyway, so
What's
that's-
your guys' favorite word? I would say mine is like innovation for some reason. I don't know why. Because you're never gonna use it. But
Favorite
it's
word
still
to
awesome.
say or favorite
Just
word
favorite
because
word
what
to
it
say or
represents?
your favorite word.
Okay.
I've never ever thought about that. What's my favorite?
I
word?
really like the word poop because it's hilarious.
Yeah,
go left.
Mike laughed.
That's,
Case in point,
it's
right
just
there.
perfect. Poop. It's short. It's succinct. It's got the P's in.
You know what
and
makes
then
people
ooh,
laugh
it's-
to fun often? Whenever I don't know why, it probably won't make you guys laugh, but diarrhea. Like just saying that in a, like
No,
a sentence.
that
That's
is
too
not
real
funny.
for me.
Well, I can't visualize stuff, so like
Too
that-
close
yeah.
to home.
Well,
Yeah.
fart is just the
Fart,
perfect
the word?
for
Poop.
I
But-
like
but-
I like
We don't have
diarrhea
to-
because you can say like diarrhea. Like it's kind
Diarrhea.
of diarrhea.
I have
don't know.
diarrhea.
I think I've
was
seen
that?
it. I think I've seen it in a movie or something. Somebody said it like that in a movie. So
Roberto
whenever,
Benigni saying diarrhea.
yeah. So whenever I hear it, that's what I think of it.
But
Diarrhea.
we don't all have to go with the root of poop. Like it can be a
Yeah,
key word,
yeah. I'm
like,
trying to
no, for
think of
sure.
something to counter that.
When you said it, the first thing that came to my mind was bananas. Just because I like.
Innovation to bananas.
No, when you said what's your favorite word, I wanted to immediately spit out bananas.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you
It's
like
fun.
bananas or no?
Yeah, I enjoy
Okay.
bananas, but I just.
It's
Do
fun
you
to
feel
say.
strongly about bananas? Is that what?
They're in like my top 3 favorite fruits, but I just like
Peanut butter and
whenever
banana sandwiches are
Yeah.
great go-to snacks.
they're yummy.
Peanut butter jelly.
Or in a smoothie,
Peanut butter
or
and
a banana.
I like this segue, guys. This is good.
No, but I just like it's one of those like I used to my go-to country like comedy country was Guam. for a
Guam, I
long
remember
time.
that.
Yeah.
Guam would come.
Guam.
to
Yeah,
mind.
and now it's just whenever anyone asks me sort of a general question, I like to answer with bananas.
Bananas.
Yeah.
So you've been prepared for this question.
That's funny. Because my go-to for that kind of thing is kumquat.
There you go.
You know, so if
That's
someone's
a good word.
Because it's
That's
like,
a-
oh,
that's a
you do
good word.
comedy? Say something funny, and then I just really straight face say kumquat.
And they laugh.
No, they're confused, but I laugh internally, and that's the point.
It made you laugh.
That's always my suggestion at Second City when they're like, "Can I get an object? Bananas!" I for some
Bananas.
reason-
And they're like, Jessica,
Yeah.
no.
You mean the obvious comedy choice?
Yeah,
let's do
I
that.
lobbed them one.
So we got poop. We got banana. We got
No,
innovation.
plural.
Bananas.
There you go.
So not banana.
I'm
You,
not saying it. I
you
like
gotta
them.
have two if
I
you're
like
gonna have
them.
some.
Yeah, a couple.
I like innovation. What do you guys? What's the word? Can be funny or can be serious, as David's
Oh,
proving.
yeah.
When
Make
I,
it
when I
dark.
was in when I was in theater school, we had to take a communications course at the same time, and the teacher would always he was like he's a really interesting character because he would literally talk like this, like his name. Yeah. Anyways, he's a real interesting guy, but he loves saying module,
Oh, that's a
Module.
good
and it's a
word.
type of word that I don't think I would ever use,
Module.
but it just sticks.
Module.
It's
Module.
module.
Did you talk about space a lot?
A module and B module, like it's
Wow.
very scientific, and I don't think I'd ever say that. Ever.
Mm. I have not come up with a word that I think fairly represents my
You
favorite
have
word.
in 3, 2, 1. You just say a word, whatever comes to your mind.
Improv skills.
We're gonna test you out right now because you're just gonna say whatever happens.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Continental.
Nice.
That's your word.
There you
Okay.
Now you know.
That's the meal you didn't.
Now you know.
That's true.
It is
Oh.
me. I'm bringing it all the way back.
You,
So
That's a
it's my
callback.
favorite word,
is continental.
but I hate the breakfast.
Yeah.
Just don't add breakfast
It's
on
his
the end of
favorite
it.
airline. It's his least favorite
Oh, it's
food.
Probably
It is a bad airline.
Bad airline.
So we're going from favorite word to what's your guys? If it's on TV, there's this one movie. It's you gotta turn it off. Your least favorite movie, or just if
Sleepless in
it's
Seattle.
on sleep. Is it okay? I'm wearing a shirt. If you can't. Sleepless in Seattle.
Get it.
You gotta turn it off.
It's a nice movie. It's a nice.
Yeah,
My mom got
I just said
my
that
mom
because I
got
was
me the
looking at your
shirt. My
shirt.
mom got me that shirt.
I think it's a
What are you
lovely
saying
shirt.
about my mom?
Nothing. I literally was.
I thought we were brothers.
we
I thought
are.
were
We're good.
brothers.
We're good. Yeah,
Same mom.
twins.
Yeah.
Twins?
Yeah, well, same mother,
Brothers from
so
a
I'm
different
not
mother.
trying to.
Yeah. Is Twins your least favorite movie? Which
I never did like that movie. I heard they're making a triplets.
Eddie Murphy. I hear.
Yeah.
Who's
Is
a
the
great
third?
comedy actor.
Are they using the other two? And
Yes.
With Eddie Murphy?
Yeah.
That's horrible.
So
If it's 80s Eddie Murphy, like he can come back, it could be cool.
How
it
many
hasn't
characters
been
is it?
80s Eddie Murphy for a long time.
I still have hope for
I
it.
didn't see Pluto Nash, but
A lot of people didn't because
I-
it bombed. It was one of the biggest
yeah, I
bombs.
did see Bowfinger though.
Bowfinger was good.
Yeah, Bowfinger was alright.
That's alright.
Yeah, no, I
was-
didn't really like Bowfinger that much. I like Steve Martin though.
Yeah.
But
He wrote that. He wrote it.
Did he? Yeah.
We're all gonna be rich, and by we, I mean me.
So the TV's on. You're walking by the kitchen. Get that off. What is that movie for you guys?
Die Hard 2.
Don't say that. That movie's
That's
great.
great.
No, I don't like Die Hard 2.
Really?
I like the first Die Hard,
Oh.
and I like the one that's set in New York. That one's awesome. I never liked Die Hard 2.
Die
Die Hard 3 is in New York.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
the
it
one
is.
with Sam Jackson. I
Well,
love
Die
that.
Hard 2 is the one
Is
in
that what that
Washington
three was
Airport.
for?
In the
'Cause you were-
airport.
Yeah,
Is
that's
that
the
what that
one
was
where
about? Die Hard
where
3?
he gets like stuck
The
with the
ice
icicle
pick
through
through
the
the
ice.
eye,
That
yeah.
was, through the eye. That was a great one.
I hated that one.
Thank you.
Hate that one.
That was
Hate
a
it.
great one.
Die Hard 2, Die Harder. That's called.
Yeah, well, it did.
Movie that.
Do you guys?
Turn off.
That hurts to hear that.
Sorry,
That's
it's
A
not
okay.
personal.
movie
I
that
get
Die
it.
Hard's a
I
great
don't know
movie,
if there is.
though,
I love movies.
I love movies too.
I mean, there are ones I don't like, but
I don't like on TV.
You prefer not to watch it,
specifically,
maybe.
I don't like the Saw. Like I haven't seen them all the way through, but the
Uh-oh.
Saw franchise.
Okay.
I really like the horror genre, but I don't like torture films particularly. So if I'm just flipping and it's like the Food Network, oh, the $1 Million Matchmaker, oh my God, Serene Boylan's having her scalp ripped off. Like it's not. I'm not gonna stay there to see what happens.
Who's
next.
having their scalp?
Serene.
Oh,
She
God.
gets her hair caught, like her ponytail caught in something, and it rips.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
And then
Especially
there's
when
a
it's
whole.
somebody you
Yeah, I
know.
don't
Then
like
there's the
that.
whole element when it's someone you know and it's a torture film. Like, oh, this
Yeah.
isn't.
It's shot in Toronto too, so it's like
Yeah.
yeah.
This isn't fun.
So you went with that makes sense. Why is there? Do you guys have one just like it's on TV for me? It's Steel Magnolias. Hate that movie. I don't know why.
What?
That movie just like
You know
keeps
what?
getting
You know
worse.
what? You know what it is?
Uh-oh.
It's because you don't want to. It's.
You don't want to go there.
You don't want to go there.
No, I love going there.
You don't want to go
No,
there.
legit, I'll go there. I like movies. You're like that
You're like,
makes
I'll
you
cry
like-
right
because it's
now. I'll
theater.
cry right now.
I don't want to cry
it's,
right now.
it's
but
theater. It's not film. I mean, they turn it into a film, but I always find when
No,
they take
like, I
a
just-
theater
I-
into
yeah.
a film, it doesn't
I
really
just-
work.
something about that movie.
Oh man, this is very revealing.
You
Wow.
also Meryl Streep on the toilet, so keep in mind everyone's knowing a lot about it.
I'm trying to block that out.
I haven't. That hasn't gone out of my mind.
Because of it.
I Love Actually is such a great film, and
No,
and the
don't
last
say
time
it.
I watched it, I was my girlfriend at the time was made fun of me because I literally welled up and really shed many tears like 8 times. Like she was just like, really again? Like
So you don't watch this
So
movie?
no, like I would rather not watch that movie because I know how.
It's
You
I'm
know?
saying I didn't cry
Or
8 times.
the Exorcist or something like I think one is enough for that movie for me. I don't have
Yeah,
to,
yeah, The
I don't have
Exorcist
to
is
watch
very
that
good.
over and over again.
I think you should
Feel
watch Love
it
Actually
in
cry as
my
many times as you want.
Yeah, I think I
Cry
should.
it out.
You should. Like, no, I love that movie. It's actually great.
Yeah,
You
I
should.
mean, I don't know about on TV, but Seven is a movie that
Seven's amazing.
I'm so happy that I saw it, and I
Oh.
never want to see it again. I really do not want to see it again.
It's-
Sloth
yeah.
did it for me. I
It's
couldn't
fun,
take that.
but Brad Pitt at the end. Oh yeah, that's the worst. That's
That's horrible.
But
He's
Brad
alive.
Pitt at the end. No, that stuff. No. Oh.
Helicopter shot, yeah, just
All
like,
that stuff. I love
You
watching
do
that
that
stuff.
popped up thing good.
Oh.
yeah.
It's good.
That's in your
He turned
repertoire,
50, he's
isn't it?
50 years old, by the way.
Yeah, he
today.
is.
Yeah.
Today's his
50
birthday?
years old.
Happy
Is he
birthday,
really?
Brad.
Happy birthday,
He looks
Brian.
great.
He's watching this right now. He's watching.
He's
He's
tuned
totally
in.
watching
Happy
this.
birthday, Brad.
He's totally watching this.
So my answer to this question would be either Kurt Russell or Kevin Hart. Who would you want to play you in a biography film of yourself?
Kurt Russell or Kevin Hart?
Because Kevin Hart's like, I'm a shorter guy.
He's a black comedian.
But he's hip right now. He's one of the most popular like, draws at the box office.
He's cool, so I
He's-
like him.
No, but he's shorter too, just like me. So like I feel
Would
like
you
and like
want
he's funny.
to
Or
play
Kurt Russell
him?
because we kind of like I often get Kurt Russell.
Well, I would say because
You
we're
get
twins,
Kurt
I would maybe ask for
Me?
yeah.
That's fair.
Have you play me?
You wouldn't want your brother to play you?
No.
I am. We are.
Be
We're
weird.
twins.
Okay, but his other twin brother to play? No?
No.
Alright,
His
that's
actual
cool.
twin
No.
may or may
He's
not be
been-
identical.
Shit's cool.
Sorry, man. Sorry.
Sorry, Shawnee.
So yeah. So if you couldn't choose your brother or your other brother, me,
Mhm.
who's the guy that or girl doesn't know, maybe Meryl Streep is off the toilet and she's playing you now. What won't be forgotten anytime soon. No,
She's done with the diarrhea and she's back to
diarrhea poop. No, so like you guys, who's the one you can be funny, can be serious, someone you look up to, or you can't play yourself though. Unfortunately, they said sorry. That's the one thing we won't.
that would be lame to play yourself probably maybe. Has anybody done that? Do you think
Played themselves in a movie?
Well, I mean, yeah, of course they have, right? Because some people
Joaquin Phoenix.
played himself.
In that-
well,
yeah,
yeah,
that
yeah,
documentary,
but
yeah.
Well, it's tricky because, like, in theory, you should get someone younger to
Yeah,
play
exactly.
you. But,
But that doesn't. I guess we're throwing that away.
yeah,
I
right?
imagine.
Because Kurt Russell and you aren't. I mean, he's.
But
older.
see, that's my answer to the game I'm playing. But you guys might be
Right.
playing a different
Yeah,
game,
yeah.
you know.
Yes, yeah, good call. Less realistic.
I mean,
more
I did-
just sort of just somebody you want.
I want
to
the
like,
movie to be
yeah.
good, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
I want them to cry.
So if it doesn't have to be so real. I Sam Rockwell. I think
Mm.
I love him as
He's
an
amazing,
actor.
yeah.
He's amazing, and he's got such a
What
cool
such an
vibe.
amazing
It's
career he has.
so unique. Yeah, such cool parts.
Yeah.
I'd love, but I more realistically, like Anthony Michael Hall, but I don't really want him to play me.
I cannot see that at all.
It's more when we were kids. Like if you look at a picture of me when I'm like in high school,
Yeah.
it's very close to him from Breakfast Club. But yeah, as an adult, not so much.
I've worked with him, and so his energy is not yours at all. It's so
I don't know
different.
him.
He did this really cool thing. He was on Warehouse 13 for a little bit,
No.
and he was playing this bad guy, like a bad character on it.
Well, yeah, okay.
And so he did this thing before takes, and it took us a while to figure out what he was doing. But he would be like, I mean. Are we rolling? I mean. And we figured out he's saying, I mean. For every take.
Wow.
And I was like, whoa, this guy's like,
That's a thing.
yeah. But he'd just be saying it to himself, I mean. Yeah, so, but
That's interesting.
you guys are,
He deviated. What happened is he started to get muscles.
Yes,
And he
yeah.
bulked up a lot, and
Yeah.
he started trying to play those kind of parts.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
but when he's
Besides
like
the
in
muscles.
Breakfast Club, it's just like
yeah.
I mean, everything about that movie is brilliant, but his character, it was like, oh god,
Yeah,
it's me.
he
Oh,
was
no.
phenomenal in all those sort of 80s movies, all that stuff. He was
Yeah.
amazing. But then, when he started to kind of play, like, change things was in Edward
Lost
Scissorhands,
it.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
He
He's
kind
playing
of
the
started
tough
playing, but he was good in
bad
that because it was so like,
That's
whoa,
right.
how is this guy
Yeah.
being a tough guy? Like, I never saw it.
That's one movie that I don't like.
As a kid, because I saw as a kid, maybe it was because it was scary. But yeah, it's another one I kind of
Edward
like.
Scissorhands?
That's
I
my-
only
that's my
recently watched
answer.
it, yeah.
If it was on TV, I'd
You
watch
turn
it.
it
That's
Turn
the
it
way.
off. Yeah.
Because Love Actually, you had a reason you still liked it. It's just you didn't want
Edward
to cry.
Scissorhands is just not my thing.
Who would you play you in your movie? Can't be Kevin Hart because I've taken him. Can't be Sam Rockwell if he's taken him. Can't be me because I'm playing him.
I would have said Sam.
Really?
Yeah.
I can
Oh,
see
you
that.
should've
I can
taken
see
that.
that. I can
Yeah,
see
you
you
can-
guys
you can
actually.
try and
I'll give it up if you want because I like him, but I don't know
That
if
means
he
you
could
get
play
Anthony
me.
Michael Hall though, or
No, I'm gonna
Maybe,
figure someone else that could actually play me.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Daniel-
Oh,
Oh,
but he's way old. He's way
but
old.
no,
You
you
play
know what?
anybody.
Yeah, I can see that.
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
A younger Daniel Day-Lewis.
I need to think of someone that did. I mean, Hugh
No,
Grant does awkward
yeah.
well, used to, but I'm not sure who does that kind of
he's quite charming.
Christian
fellow.
Bale.
Christian Bale.
Christian
Yeah,
Bale.
Christian Bale,
Yeah. Because of the eyebrows.
I don't know.
Doctor.
He's awesome.
I want to say, and it's so like, I don't deserve her, but Kate Winslet.
Yeah.
Just because like stuff like Eternal Sunshine for the Spotless Mind and stuff, she can be quite wacky and ballsy and brassy. She's not always so porcelain, and I really like her.
Yeah.
I
And then
just-
she
I
could do something
just-
like The Holiday and just be just.
I was just gonna say,
Yeah.
I saw The Holiday, which it's a rom-com, so it is. I saw it not
She's
so
so
long ago.
charming.
It's not a good movie, really. Like, it's not a bad movie, but I'm not like, what compared to what other stuff that she does. But she was so good in it.
She's great.
Yeah.
She's just
So
so good
charming.
in it. And I was like, wow, she's
She made you like the movie a bit more than you probably would have.
I liked her. I liked her in that movie a lot.
Oh, okay, so you didn't really like the movie. but-
Yeah, it was okay, but the other stuff was kind of cutesy, whatever. Like, I didn't really get that invested in it. But when she was emotional and stuff, I was really just so into into her character.
She classed me up a bit.
She class you up.
A little bit.
So you're not classy, is what you're
I'm
saying?
classy, but she classed me. She'd led me like British class. That's a different level of class.
All right.
It's the classiest.
Mm.
Do you guys have you ever any of you you can say no obviously have you ever been like starstruck or like been smitten by a person on set or like
set.
that had a set crush or fallen in love on set?
Yes.
We're going deep. Oh, she got it.
Well, all of the above.
Okay.
I've done all those things.
So what one of those? Give us something. Gives the
I
goods.
was on set with Al Pacino, so that was pretty dumb. That was just like
You had a crush on him?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It was Al Pacino.
I had a crush on
I
him.
had
Yeah.
I had
It was like,
everything
hey,
for Al Pacino.
Jessica,
But it was
you
also,
got a great ass. You know all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff?
Heath, that's awesome, man.
But he, I didn't have any scenes with him, but I was working on the same days as him, so I got to watch him work, which was almost better in a way.
What did you pick up? What were some things?
Well, for one, he's not like it's his energy that's big. He's not a big person. He's
Yeah.
a small person. Physically, he's small,
Mhm.
and just even what he puts out with people is not super gregarious.
Good
And
word too.
Thank you.
That's a good.
And so it actually lends him a level of fragility that you see in his work and stuff like Scent of a Woman or like Any Given Sunday, but you don't
Jack and
associate.
Jill,
I don't know that one.
the Adam Sandler movie where
No.
he played his sister.
Fucking
was-
hell.
I was
Good
just-
one,
I
good
was
one,
just-
good one.
I was just making
I
fun
don't,
of
I don't know.
he should have done that movie.
He was in that movie?
Nobody
But-
should have done that
Really?
movie.
Yeah,
that
it made
movie
money
shouldn't
though.
have been
Yeah,
done.
I know, I know.
Sorry, continue.
No, I'm still baffled by the fact
Adam
that
Sandler played his own sister in it,
And
and
Al
Al Pacino
Pacino-
falls in love
Twin,
with the
right?
sister.
no.
Al Pacino falls in love with the sister,
No.
aka Adam Sandler in a wig, and it's
Oof.
clearly in a bad accent.
So many things
This is your
wrong
hero,
about
or
that.
your crush.
I just lost so much respect for Al Pacino.
This is your crush on your
He-
on-set
he
crush.
gets-
He
fucking
can't do no
Ruined.
wrong.
Apparently he can.
Well, I mean, that was a bad choice, but the rest of it balances out.
I don't know. So he's an amazing actor, and also how he handled the crew,
Mhm.
how he handled people, and he is super shy. Like he's not a group.
Wow.
Yeah, no. No, and they had to get him a phone book because he was doing a shot where he had to see over his steering wheel, and they couldn't see his eyes over the steering wheel,
No.
and so they had to get him a phone book, and he had
Al
to sit on a
Pacino.
phone book
Hilarious.
to see.
Poor guy.
That's amazing.
Well, no,
He's
this is
not
Al
poor at all.
Pacino, but it was
He's
just one of those things where I was
He's
like,
not.
you think of him from The
Yeah.
Godfather, and then I'm like, wow, this is not who you are at all. This is really, you're just a great actor.
Did you feel some sort of like Italian connection with him because of that? Those kind of iconic Italian roles he's
No.
played and stuff. Did you feel
No.
some sort of like?
No, because I hadn't seen I wasn't aware of the canon of his work when
Okay,
I worked
wow,
with
when
him.
you
I
worked
knew
with
that he was Al Pacino,
Right,
and that
right,
was a
right.
big fucking deal. But I didn't know.
You hadn't seen
So you'd
Dog
seen-
Day
No.
Afternoon.
You'd
No,
seen
it was
like
after
the
the fact
Devil's
that I
Ad.
got
What is
it.
it? The Devil's Advocate.
Yeah, the
or
Devil's
whatever?
Yeah,
You've seen
yeah,
that
yeah.
And
one?
Scent of
Yeah,
a
yeah,
Woman,
yeah.
and like I'd seen
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
from like the 90s.
But not
I
the
hadn't
70s
really.
stuff.
But not the amazing stuff.
Not the really good stuff.
Actually, the thing I heard about Keanu Reeves, just because like so often he gets made fun of, is like movies like The Replacement, Devil's Advocate. He cut his check because he wanted people
Yeah.
like Gene Hackman and same with Al Pacino
Yeah, yeah,
in
yeah.
those films.
I
He's
actually
apparently
read
an
that not too
amazing
long
person.
ago. Yeah.
He's supposed to be an amazing guy.
I love him in lots of stuff. Like Point
Speed
Break,
was perfect.
Speed
was perfect.
Yeah, Point Break that was his part.
Yeah.
The Matrix.
Johnny Unitas.
The Matrix. There's a
Matrix,
a
it was
Bill
bang
and
on.
Ted's. Like he's
Oh
actually.
yeah, Bill and Ted. was
Like
good
if you
too.
look at the range of what we're naming, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah. And he's worked with Al Pacino. Your on-set crush. Did you guys have anyone that you just
Thanks.
on set or like? out of respect
Mine
or-
wasn't on set. Mine was. I think I've only been really starstruck, like what that really means, once, and that was at the film festival years ago. And people had already gone into one of the theaters, and I was sitting in the lobby waiting for a buddy of mine, reading a magazine, and it's pretty empty because the big throng of people has just gone in, and I look up and it's Dustin Hoffman walking towards me and like past me, and I just remember like I was frozen. It was just he's so tiny, but it's Dustin Hoffman, and it was just at that point where I'd watched all the good stuff that he'd ever done, and I've never felt that before. That kind of like frozen feeling of like, yeah.
I can say that I have a fiance, but I can say this because she knows about this. Well, just nothing happened, but I had a huge crush. I did 5 or 6 episodes of a show called Veronica Mars, and Kristen Bell had never really done anything before. She was kind of this girl, and I sort of played her boyfriend or 4 or 5 episodes, and I was just like, I just had a crush on her. There was something like she was really funny and really sweet, and she was just like very engaging. So I kind of had a crush on her when I worked with her. Nothing ever happened, nothing happened, whatever. But I was just like, wow, this girl's really cool.
So just to look, are you gonna be a part of the Veronica Mars movie?
No.
What were your thoughts on that campaign though? Because that was the first.
It's amazing.
That was the first
it's amazing.
one that used the internet.
Yeah, really exploded to get. I think they got like $5 million.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
I think it's cool because I think it shows that, that people will volunteer their money ahead of time to support something that the studios or whatever don't deem viable.
Yeah.
So, and again, like if you're gonna pay, it's like almost $20 to go see an IMAX 3D movie right now. So if you put in $10 or $5 ahead of time, and then you go pay $10 to go see a movie, I mean that's less than going to see one of these big budget things, and to support something that you really care about and characters and stuff. I think it's amazing. It's really cool. Mm-hmm. I rallied really hard to get myself on that movie. Like anybody that ever asked me was like, just put it out on Twitter to Rob Thomas.
You created like an Indiegogo campaign for Aaron Ashmore
to get on
on Mars.
Well, I should have. I should have done fucking videos and
get all the fans.
But people,
what was this? Were you gonna dance in the videos?
Well, you gotta do what you gotta do. Distract them with the magic hands. But I told people to say like put it out on Twitter because this is how this movie got made.
Why not?
It was sort of this internet sort of thing. So I'm like, I have no idea. My character, there's no real reason to be there. There's so many other more integral characters to that storyline. But I was like, who knows? Maybe a cameo. So just put it out there, and lots of people did like put it out there that were asking me about it and stuff. But to no avail. But if there's a sequel to this, you never know.
Have they filmed it already?
Yeah, they filmed. I think this past summer.
Oh,
so it's done. It's not gonna happen.
Maybe you're your own on-set crush then, because you're trying to get yourself back in the movie. Maybe it's you. But no, you were saying Kristen Bell. Is there anyone you said there was someone else kind of?
Well, like a man crush sort of thing. Like I met Patrick Stewart.
Ooh, yeah.
And I was just like, I think he's really cool. He does all this awesome stuff, and I think he's a really interesting guy. But when I met him,
Masterminds, his classic film.
Vincent Kartheiser.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one. Oh,
They're hackers.
He's a bad guy, right?
Kids as hostages.
Yeah, okay, cool. I have seen that one. I wasn't thinking about that one.
I know.
Bring the umbrella in the school. Yeah.
This kid, I hate him, and he's got this little mustache.
Yeah, I have seen that one. But I think it's the same thing. Sorry,
no, finish your story. I just hear the rest of the story. I want to know what this experience was
like.
You're
talking about hijacking kids. And then I
in that movie, I wasn't. No one.
And there's this movie called The Peanut Butter Solution.
What?
That I think was a Canadian film, and it was about this old man.
The hair.
That's another movie that I'd shut off immediately if it was on TV. Sorry, anyway.
Speaking of hijacking conversations.
So you really liked him, and
So
everything
Patrick
was
Stewart.
show up, and there he is.
Well, I didn't meet him on set. I was at a convention, sort of thing, and the guy that it was him and William Shatner were sort of down at one end of the building. Shatner, and so they start walking sort of behind, and you can see there's like maybe 2,000 people over where they were, and as they're coming our way, behind the thing, all these people, like the eyes start moving, and everybody starts like gravitating towards us, and I was like, what's going on? Why is everybody looking over here? And then I sort of see, Patrick's coming, and whatever, so they come, and the guy that we were working with that sort of like set us up with this thing represents Patrick as well. So he's like, do you want to he's like, hey, do you guys want to say hi, whatever? So they come over, and there's thousands of people. I'm not even kidding you, like looking at us, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, hi, Patrick. My brother and you guys have worked together, and I don't think it like really clicked to him. So it's just like, yes, very nice to meet you. Yes, hi, yes. And they kept going, and I was just like, whoa, that was the stupidest thing that I could have said, and it was like so awkward, and there was so many people watching this exchange, and then so finally later I got to like sort of talk to him a little bit more, but in that first thing I didn't know what to say. I was so frozen. All I could think of was like, my brother. Hi, like this sort of
Right.
thing. And but he's such a down to earth dude, and obviously incredibly talented. But then you see all this stuff that he sort of does around like. These like campaigns to end like women's violence against women,
Saw a
all
video
these
on there.
things, and like when you
Beautiful
see
video.
those things, you're like, this guy's an awesome guy, just a really cool guy, and he's incredibly talented. And yeah, so I was just like so nervous, like frozen. But then after you kind of get to be around somebody for a few minutes, you're like, oh, they're just a normal person. But in that moment of somebody walking towards you that is so recognizable,
you've seen them. You already know them. I mean, you don't know them from talking to them, but you've seen them die. You've seen them fall in love. You've seen them cry. You've seen them have joy. Like all those things. And so this happened to me with Giovanni Ribisi, which I forgot about. It was after a film festival, and I was in the second row, and there were a bunch of them standing up there. And I'm just kind of looking at him as someone else is answering a question, and he looks over, and whether or not, this is how it happened in my head. I don't know what actually happened. He looked at me, and we locked eyes, and I got this weird feeling, this weird sense, and it's because not long before that, I'd watched him die in Saving Private Ryan. And it was such a powerful scene, what he went through, that I think, thinking back to it, I think that's what happened. And it's just, it was like he was a ghost back from the dead, and the way he was looking at me, it was just like, it was insane. It was really, really hit me hard. And I think it's because of that, because it's like, I saw you. Like, I've had something with you. You haven't had something with me.
Right.
But I've had something with you.
Well, then that's an interesting thing too. Then to know that and use that. So if anybody comes up to you and is sort of in that sort of thing of like, hey, you're not just like, what the fuck is your, you know, you're like,
I'm me. Don't they get it?
Yeah.
I'm not actually that character, but that's how they know you.
Yeah,
That's
like that
what
sort of
they
sense or that sort of understanding of like, yeah, they don't know you, but they have so many. They've seen you go through all these things that you put yourself out there in that way. So it's kind of an interesting thing to have that experience too.
And you don't know which movie might touch people. I remember meeting this
Yeah.
lady who did a bunch of TV shows and movies, and she did House Arrest.
Yeah.
And so like she was like coming into a class, and I was like, I have this House Arrest DVD. You want to sign? We talked about that, but just like she's like, oh yeah, I did that movie. Like she forgot. So you never know what movie might affect someone, like whether they're dying or like Love Actually for you. You might be like Hugh Grant. You might meet him and go like, you're the greatest prime minister of all time.
Yeah.
Do you have anybody?
I do, yeah. I had this really cool experience of meeting Philip Seymour Hoffman once, and he's like one of my idols. So I was in LA at the time visiting some friends, and we were at the Chateau Marmont, and a few hours earlier we had seen, it was during Oscar season when he was nominated for, before the nominations came out for Capote. And we were all blown away by the film, and after coming back from the film, we saw a press junket, him being interviewed for a press junket, and he was wearing this like, radial like plaid jacket, right? So I'm sitting, flash forward a few hours.
Sweater, right?
Oh, thanks, man. Keeps me warm. So flash forward a few hours later, and my friend and I are both at the Chateau Marmont. We're having a drink, and I had vision of whoever was walking through the sort of terrace backyard area, and I spotted this guy walking by with the plaid jacket on. I was like, holy shit, man, that was Philip Seymour Hoffman. He goes, really? Seriously? I'm like, yeah, no, that's definitely him. Definitely him. And so my buddy's really, very ballsy guy. He seizes the moment no matter what.
Who are you with?
Reynolds.
Oh, okay.
What up, Reynolds? And so he's like, okay, you know what? We're going to finish our drinks, and we're going to go talk to him. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, we're going to do it. I'm like, so we down our drinks. We march on over. It was, just a sort of patio area. And there he was with another guy. And we sort of just, walked up and said, excuse me, gentlemen, don't mean to interrupt or anything, but we just, Mr. Hoffman, we just saw you and Capote and think you're absolutely amazing. Just blown away by your work. And he's like, oh, and he had a hamburger in front of him. He was just pouring like ketchup on it, right? And he's just such a real chill guy. He's like, oh, thanks, man, thanks a lot. He's like, well, fuck, like, here's the director, Bennett Miller, right here. And then so we shook Bennett Miller's hand and had this sort of moment with him. Sean, we had mentioned that we had a theater company, so had that connection with theater, with Hoffman. And for me, the first time I ever really noticed Philip Seymour Hoffman's work was in Scent of a Woman, where he played a minor character.
Yeah.
Real asshole.
Just a real kind of likable,
frat
frat boy guy. And you just kind of smack people's cheeks,
so
cheeks.
good.
Really cool choice. And so I was like, he's easily one of my favorites. And I was like, I was literally like trembling, kind of how I am now, the way I'm speaking. But like, you know, trembling and just being like, Mr. Hoffman, you know, and he's like, just call me Phil. I'm like, Phil, your role in Scent of a Woman, you know, I've taken notice of you since then. And he's like, oh, thanks, man. You know, he's like, oh, that's really just such a down-to-earth guy. He totally put me at ease. But when I first went up to initiate conversation, I was freaking out.
Well,
And then you know, later on, obviously he won the Oscar and got nominated and won the Oscar and stuff. So it was really neat to sort of have that experience before the award hullabaloo went crazy for him. You know, I'd love to work with that guy someday.
So I just want to quickly take a second, if I can, just to say thanks, Mike, for helping us out today.
Thanks,
Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Mike, do you want a cookie? Can I get you a cookie?
Afterwards.
Okay.
I'm actually glad you're talking to him right now, because I hope you guys will treat him nice, because he's actually going to be a part of this next thing, because under this table here, I actually have a shirt online here. So we have a shirt in this bag here, and so we're going to do a little thing called T-shirt monologue coming up. So on the line today, we have a random shirt.
Green Lantern.
Green Lantern. I wasn't going to say was because I didn't know if we had any copyright issues.
Oh.
So we got that.
Now you do.
We got this shirt. So we play a little game here on the show called T-shirt monologue.
Okay.
And so what we're going to do is I'm going to tell you what your scenario is, and you're going to look into your personal camera and have 30 seconds to improv. And Mike, our switcher today, is going to pick the winner of this T-shirt who gives the performance of their lifetime in T-shirt monologue.
Oh my God.
What do we win?
This
My
T-shirt.
T-shirt.
Oh, we win the T-shirt. Sorry.
Hence the title T-shirt monologue.
Right, I
So you
wasn't
just
paying
have to
attention.
pretend like you're Green Lantern.
No, you'll get
Oh.
the T-shirt, but I'm going to tell you what you do, and then you have
Oh,
30
okay.
brilliant seconds, hopefully,
All right.
to
Oh,
perform.
Lord.
So, Drew, this would be your camera, Aaron, Jessica, and David. You guys will look there.
All right.
Who wants to win a T-shirt, folks?
I do.
Drew
I don't have
does.
enough.
Slow clap? Is that a slow clap?
So I picked randomly, and Jessica, you're actually gonna go first.
I
Yeah.
knew it.
And so I will give you a second to prepare, but so I will tell you that you did this lovely movie I remember seeing recently, and I have a clip of it I'll show in a second. But you did this movie called Peter. It was a remake of Peter Pan, and you actually played Captain Hook. Do you remember that scene? Is it cool we show a clip of you in that film?
Yeah. If you have it queued up, go right ahead.
Yeah, so right ahead. So I guess, well, you could just reenact it, I guess, if you want to look.
I have a question.
I'll give you maybe an answer.
Okay. Does my monologue have to be about the T-shirt?
No.
Oh!
That's the prize.
Oh,
You-
that changed everything.
You're about to
for
be
me.
Captain Hook.
I know.
That's the monologue.
That is I got that now.
Oh, I see.
I'm not smart. I'm pretty. Okay.
So this is your lovely
You're pretty
reenactment of a great scene in Peter that you did once.
Damn you. Blast you, Pen! I've searched without a hand for so many years. The Lost Boys tormenting me all of the time, and all I wanted was love. Why must you leave me? The ticking clock, the crocodile, this ghost ship, this place is nothing. Nothing without the love of a good boy. One lost boy.
I'm never growing up.
Not with me, you won't. With me, you'll always be little. With me, you'll always be. Is that 30 seconds?
Jesus,
Thank you, Ron.
That's great. Give her the T-shirt.
I want to see. Okay, fucking.
Well, there's 3 other performances. You do want this T-shirt, I can sense it.
I don't want the T-shirt. I also want a chip. Can I have a chip?
You can.
After that, you can have
That
whatever
was
you
an
want.
excellent concentration.
And that's the great thing about T-shirt monologue is you're going to be on camera with someone else who might start laughing, and you have to stay in it to win a T-shirt.
Yeah.
A T-shirt.
Also, what do you win?
A T-shirt.
Exercise.
As Jessica was finding
A
out
T-shirt.
Oh, yeah,
slowly.
I didn't know. I thought I had to do them all
Jessica,
without
are you
a
really
T-shirt.
committed to that? That was really good.
I was really right.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm an actor.
So far you've set the bar
I know, that's
very
the.
high.
Yeah.
I'm vomiting.
Is
a
Mike
little
going to
in my
eat
mouth.
with you? We're going to find out.
That
You're really
One
putting us
day
on the
for
fucking
you.
spot here.
I was really good.
David Tompa, how are you doing?
Oh, good. Are you about to tell me that Drew's gonna go next?
No, I'm going to tell you Drew could be next, but it'll actually be you next.
Okay.
T-shirt monologue.
Hey, how's it going, Lindsay?
So you said when you came in today that you sometimes go in for, maybe interesting characters, maybe someone who could have been sketchy or maybe a killer.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever played the victim?
I
Yeah,
must
because
have.
you actually did, because I remember this movie you did called I'm Not Gonna Die Today, I'm Gonna Survive. Do you remember that movie?
Oh yeah, yeah, but then he did actually die.
Well,
Did you watch it to the end?
it was a Blu-ray movie. I didn't have a Blu-ray player at the time.
There's that
Oh,
scene
yeah,
at the
yeah.
Russian-
I watched the trailer of it.
Oh,
But
yeah.
there was a really good scene you did in that movie, I remember.
Yeah, what was it about? There was something very specific about it.
It was the
that-
scene where you met the killer.
Where
and
I
you
met the
thought
killer.
You could survive, and so that
Right,
conversation
right.
you had where you were fighting for your life, that was such a
Right.
great scene.
Yeah.
Can you like let us see that again?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah?
Let me see if I can remember exactly.
It was a great scene.
What was happening?
It was almost as good as that movie Peter with Jessica.
Yeah, almost. as good.
I can't even remember the title of the film now because it was such a long title.
I think. Yeah. Okay. It went something like this.
So just
Oh.
Well, that's not distracting.
well now you have.
No, we have more audience. Okay. Wait.
So-
I should have used that.
The camera's there.
Oh, Jesus.
So remember.
Did you want me to?
So just
They have to look it at.
David
They're
has
gonna
a
rent
new
it. They're
thing
going
that the person's there, but he's
Um,
actually gonna. Don't worry about that. So David, into that camera.
Sure.
Let's see your scene from that film. I can't remember the title
Okay.
because I made a terrible title for you.
Okay. Right. Here it is. Oh, thank God, Mom. Oh, I didn't notice you. How did you know that? How did you know that the combination to the basement? No. Oh God, no. Not you, Mom. Not you. You're not the one to kill all those people. No! No! You gave birth to me.
David Tompa.
I love it.
I've actually-
I love it. You guys get to die. That's nice.
I've actually
That's fun,
seen
man.
some of that death scene, not in this movie that you just done, but actually another one called The Shrine that we worked on together.
Yes, true.
that gurgle, that sort
Yeah,
of
the
death
gurgle.
rattle. I've actually
You
seen
know what?
that
The
before.
best part?
It's really good.
I did not do the sounds for that gurgle. That was done in looping.
Looping? That's a loop gurgle?
It's a loop gurgle.
Well, you know what? Because I heard something very similar in this, so I thought it was
Ah.
sort of I was making connections, but
I had coached the guy that was going to do
The
the
textures.
looping to
you
let them know.
yeah you let him know.
So, would you like a chip? I think you get a
I think I
chip.
think I
Yeah,
can get some
yeah.
chips.
It was a you didn't see after the credits because your character came back to life. Yeah, so it was like I was actually correct in that. But,
Sequel.
Yeah,
Sequel.
but yeah, the sequel is. Are you gonna make the sequel of that movie? I can't remember. Were they any contract or?
Well, it's not 100% set in stone, but it's an option that
Yeah.
could be.
Was it too real for people? They just didn't want to go back. Like Giovanni and Saving Private Ryan, they just can't go with you potentially dying again. Is it too real?
I think we would have to somehow let people know that I'm not going to die again because I'm not sure that people
Maybe
would
in the
want to go
title.
through that again.
The title again?
Yeah.
You
No,
were,
no, for real. This time I survived.
So you were really good in that. There was actually another performance I really liked. Aaron, you did a movie, right? Really, do you remember this movie you did? It was a sports film, and it was that moment before the last shot. It's in overtime, and you saw your father in the crowd, and he hasn't talked to you for 12 years, and
I love
there's a
doing
mic
that.
near you for some reason, and just the crowd can just see what you're sensing. It was a beautiful scene, and you debated, should I talk to my dad who's starting to leave the crowd, or should I make the shot in overtime? Do you remember that scene?
What was it? It was a basketball film.
It was basketball hockey. There was a sequel.
New sport.
It was a new sport.
It was Baki.
Hockey, yes.
Baki.
Hockball.
And it was a great scene. Like I can't.
Yeah, the scene wasn't really about the sport. It was about the dad.
It was about the dad. It was just like
Emotion.
it stayed with me for days. It stayed with me for days.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was called The Sport of Life.
The Sport of Life.
Yeah. I guess it'd be cool to see a scene from that.
That particular scene at the end
I
there.
love that movie.
Yeah, it was such a touching scene.
The
That,
moment before he's about to shoot the free throw to win the game, but then he sees his dad in the stands.
Yeah.
yeah.
Starting
Okay.
to leave.
Has the monologue.
Okay.
Oh.
Right.
Sport of Life.
Yeah. Hold on a second. Dad. Fuck off. Okay, now I gotta start it again.
This feels so real.
It's fine.
The setup
This
was
movie feels so
so.
real.
Sorry guys. That was a false start. No.
Okay, take two.
Take two. Sorry about that one, guys. All right, good game. Yeah. Dad. Hey. Guys, will you guys give me a second? Yeah. I know. I got it. Just give me a second. Dad. Hey.
You can make that shot, son.
Look, Dad, I appreciate it so much that you came here. I know how hard it was for you to get here. I know that you had to drive all the way across state, and I know we've been through all this shit this year. And I want you to know that it means so much you came, man.
Well, then you better score this shot.
I'm gonna. Dad, I'm gonna. I mean, you just gotta don't put that kind of pressure on me right now because you know this is about us. This is not about this. You know that this is not about this. This is about us. And I appreciate that you came here. Are you gonna give me a hug?
No. Shoot.
I'm gonna do it for you anyways, pal. All right, boys. It's for you, Dad. It was always for you. Fuck. I messed up.
It's a heartwarming.
That was awesome.
And then he was gonna.
Dad's such a dick in that movie.
He leaves you because you missed. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was such a triumph and then such a downfall. That
I
was
can't believe
Yeah.
I can't believe your dad laughed at you.
I know.
He's a real
Such
piece of
a
shit.
Dad.
It was quite a performance. It almost rivaled the performance of Drew Nelson in the film Sexy Politics. Do you remember your performance in Sexy
You
Politics?
did nudity in that.
You actually had a sex scandal, and you had to address the public of that sex scandal because it was around election time. Do you remember that scene you did? Quite controversial, actually.
I prepped a week for that scene.
I heard people often left the theater like they couldn't get through that scene.
Really?
Yeah. Can we see that?
Do we have to?
We do, yeah. I feel like it's to your fans that Sexy Politics, Drew Nelson, to that.
Is this on? Ladies and gentlemen, my constituents were the ones that suggested that I speak to you this afternoon. There is speculation that that Veronica, my assistant, has gone to the courts and to her lawyers and her legal team in the event of can we do another?
I thought you were gonna put out blowies at any point.
What?
You try it again.
Where was the Sexy Politics in that?
There was not.
The keyword was sexy.
No.
I believe the film was actually a comedy.
Okay.
There we go. Okay, take two.
The DVD
You
skipped.
ran.
The
You
DVD
ran.
skipped.
No, that was from the outtakes.
Sexy Paul. Jesus Christ.
Work the eyebrows. There you go.
Sexy though.
Cool
Sexy
plan.
though.
That's what my girlfriend says. Work the eyebrows.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very happy that you all came this afternoon. I myself and my cohorts, David, Aaron, and Jessica, make up the team that creates politics in a sexy tone. Together with our loins and our innate ability to sexualize any word ever said.
Well, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
June April from the Entertainment Weekly Press. What if I told you I just thought you were a big pervert? Huh? Why should I vote for you, pervert?
Well, that's not very sexy.
Well, then prove to me that you're the sexiest politician on this planet Earth, or I'm gonna vote for the other person.
Don't make me take my clothes off.
That's where he does the nudity.
And the T-shirt goes to.
So
That was a tough one,
that
man.
was a tough one.
It was a really
Hard
tough.
one.
Could you connect to the sexy, or you couldn't?
I couldn't.
You were still weeping over Love Actually.
Yeah.
I'm still
How would
Yeah.
Meryl Streep have done that scene? Would she have killed it?
On the
She would have
piano.
On the breath.
She would
destroyed.
have done it on the
On-
She
piano.
on
would
the
have
toilet, on
destroyed
the
it.
breath.
Anything.
She would have been great.
She would have had to just breathe 3
She would have had a month to
She would
prepare.
have gotten an Oscar for it.
Well, we saw some great scenes, and I have I hope a great T-shirt. I don't know. But Mike, you've been watching these shows pretty closely, these movies. What was the one that affected you the most? That was just the best performance of T-shirt monologue.
Well,
Drum roll, please.
after much consideration by the board, I'm gonna have to give the award to Dave.
Ah!
Whoa.
Well
David
done.
Tompa,
Whoa!
for your movie I can't remember the title to, has just won a T-shirt.
Wow.
Nicely
Um,
done. Would you like to thank anyone?
Well,
How
yeah.
do you feel, David Tompa?
I feel such a mix of things right now. I'm stunned. I feel blessed. I feel grateful. And I feel like I have a strange green power welling up inside of me. An unnamed power. Thanks,
any-
guys. That's amazing. Thanks, Mike. I'll give you the money after.
Does anyone feel robbed of that? Drew, I
No,
feel like you
not at all.
don't.
God, no.
I
Does
just
it,
want to
did
say
he-
that Jessica was a close second.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Wow,
Thank
so he
you.
basically told you guys you're in last place. How do you guys- that's what he just
You weren't
said.
even in the running.
How do you guys feel about that knowledge?
I feel like I definitely maybe need to take some Second City classes.
The Second City people.
I just
I
avoided
feel like,
words.
just culture, you have an off day every once in a while, and
Can't be sexy every day.
you can't bring out the sexiness every day.
So I want to end kind of a fun question. What's just an embarrassing moment? What's the most embarrassing moment in life that you've had? Like for me, one my mom said, "Can you give this Christmas gift and this gift that these people are about to have a baby?" As people I hadn't seen in a while, I said, "I don't feel good about doing this," but I went to the door and I hadn't seen the girl who was there for a while. And so I guess she had gained a little weight, so I said, "Congratulations on the baby upcoming." She was the one who had a birthday. She wasn't the pregnant person. It was
Wow.
very awkward to get out of that. I somehow just walked away. So do you guys have a moment like that, kind of in life? Sexy politics doesn't count.
No.
No, it's just-
Politicians.
I feel like you know all of my. I feel like you should reference mine because I embarrass myself pretty regularly.
Kind of drawing a blank.
I don't know. I feel like I spend most of my life embarrassed.
Yeah.
It's true. Like, when was I not?
Awkward and nervous.
Yeah. I've got my skirt tucked into my G-string a lot.
Mm. That's sexy.
Well, you
That's sexy politics.
you say that, but not when it happens to you. It's not exactly when it happens to you.
So this is an embarrassing moment for me now.
Mistaken.
Dave knows one
Yeah.
about me, but we're not gonna.
Ooh, what is it, Dave?
We're gonna say. We're gonna.
Which
Nobody's
one?
gonna say it now, cause yeah, which
What is
one?
it?
Which
What
one are
is
you
it?
talking about? Just give me a key word.
Poop.
Diarrhea.
Girls. Sex.
That shit's all fucked up.
That shit's
Yep.
all fucked up, yeah.
Oh,
He knew
yeah.
it took him a second, but he got it.
That one. The other one I always think of for you is the bio that you wrote for yourself for making funny stuff.
I know. Yeah. What was that again?
So David's gonna
Let's
tell
hear-
Bruce
let's hear
embarrassing
You just
this
story.
tell
Yeah,
embarrassing
yeah.
stories about it.
Yeah, tell
because at
embarrassing
the
stories
time,
about
I did
yourself.
not know that you guys are reading into it like that.
Well,
Pull it up. He's got it on his phone.
I have it starred in my Gmail account because
Oh,
it's so
What
brilliant.
is it? What are we looking
So this is me and a couple buddies, Glenn McDonald and David Lewis, we do some sketch called Making Funny Stuff, makingfunnystuff.ca. And so we wanted to write some bios and from our characters' perspective.
To go on the website.
To go on the website, yeah. So and we were kind of making fun, like I'm the one that's bossy that knows exactly what's going on, and you know what. So Drew, we had him come on as this guy, the initiate, and he writes, I'm who the boys like to call the initiate, but I like to refer to myself as the comic genius in waiting. Cool. Starts off great. I sacrifice my mind, body, and spirit, but especially my body, for the art that is comedy. Okay? Oh, I can't get through this. I'm the sponge.
This is you?
This is
Drew wrote
as
this.
if my, it's
Drew
my
wrote
character.
this, but he's not intending to be funny in the way he's.
No.
I'm the sponge that laps up all the comedic juice that the funny stuff boys squeeze out.
Ew.
I do whatever it is they want me to do, and I mean everything. and the best part is he had no idea that he was writing this
To
thing.
make it
This
sexualized.
clearly, obviously,
Because I do get
double
tortured in the
entendre.
show.
Sexually?
Nothing sexually. And it's laden with unintentional sexual innuendo.
Homoerotic.
It's amazing.
That,
It's amazing.
Well, okay.
No, what was the other one? What was
is there
the
a
other
table
one?
turn on him? On David? Do you have anything on David or?
No.
Embarrassing stories.
No, I don't have anything on Dave. Yeah. I have a waitering story that's horrific, but I've talked enough. You guys.
No, that sounds good, man. That sounds real good.
I want to end on a low note for you, so yeah, let's tell that story.
So, as all actors do, they do serving from time to time. I did a serving job at this sort of like mid to high end Italian restaurant down at Front Young, and a friend of mine was also a waiter there at the time, and so we had a lot of opera crowds come in before the rush. So it would be a massive rush, and then they go off to the opera. So this was like on a Sunday afternoon. I'm serving my section. I was the type of waiter that I couldn't even hold stuff on a platter. I had to like set it down on the table.
It's a tray.
Yeah, whatever, tray, whatever. Same thing.
You're a terrible waiter.
Terrible waiter. I don't even know the terminology. So I put it down on the table, and I have to like distribute the drinks, in that way. But so the rush ends. I'm completely like every time there was a rush, I could never hide it. Like my eyes were just bugging out of my head, and all my customers could see that. And awful. So these three Americans show up, and they sit in the back, and like I said, everything's kind of died down. Things are kind of calm now, and so I went up to their table, became really charming with them, and developed a good rapport, laughing, chit chatting, all that stuff. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go get your drinks, and they ordered like these like really tall, massive frozen drinks, things like that. So I went back to the bar, and usually I'd get the bartender to do it, but I made the drinks on my own this time and was feeling kind of confident. So I walked over with the tray with the drinks on top, and I was just being here is your gin and tonic, and here is your whatever, and then here is your, and it literally fell off the tray. We're talking a drink with like in a glass with like a little parasol and everything. Strawberry daiquiri drink, and the woman that I was just over top was wearing nothing but white, white blouse, white jacket, white pants, and it just like I to this day I feel like the glass like hit her in the head at some point because it just poured all over her entire outfit, and the guy that was there leapt out of his chair, and he was just like, Jesus Christ! Like he's
Al Pacino?
freaking out, man, freaking out, and I was like, I never felt so small in my life. I was just like, I am so sorry, like it was just such a humiliating experience. And then my
classic
manager
movie
at the
thing where
time,
you're like trying to like pat her breasts to dry it. Oh, I'm
No.
so sorry.
yeah,
oh
for
my
sure.
God, I'm so sorry.
You look
yeah,
beautiful. You look
like,
beautiful.
it was like
It's
that.
fine. It's
Women
gonna
are
be
rings.
fine.
That kind of moment when I know when you see someone about to fall,
Cut
and,
it into a vest.
and it's like it's like that freeze frame, and you can't go to sort of save it from falling, but
My favorite part of that story,
Really?
I've heard this story a couple times,
horrifying. Yeah.
is when afterwards, man, it just happened, and you said, do you want me to get a towel?
He's like,
And the guy's like,
yeah.
do you think?
Yeah. He's like, what do you think, guy? He's like, go pick up the ice cubes on the ground. Like he was an ass.
Livid.
He was an ass. But the funny part is that my manager at the time, I was just the newbie guy that didn't know what the hell he was doing, and she sort of had a soft spot for me. So all I remember is her dealing with the customers, calming them down, and then turning in my direction and kind of just giving me a smile. So I didn't get fired. I ended up getting
He didn't get fired because Sean Reynolds, who was the one that instigated that Philip Seymour Hoffman thing, talked him out of it.
Yeah.
This guy gets you
So-
into a good situation.
Yeah,
He's a good man.
He's a good friend.
He's a really good friend. Yeah, he's a great man.
I just thought of an embarrassing story,
Nice.
and at the moment that
That's a
this
hard story, man.
that this happened,
Yeah, yeah.
I was mortified, and I'll tell you why I was so mortified towards the end of it, because it's something that happens to me all the time. So it's like, so I was at the Toronto Film Festival last year, or maybe it was 2 years ago. Anyway, whatever. Not this year that happened, but just the one before that. And I was at the Film Center, Canada Film Center party up at the, I don't know, it's like a freaking beautiful property up there. And my brother had a movie in the film festival
Me?
called The Day. Not you, my other brother, my other twin brother, called The Day. And it was himself, an actor named Dominic Monaghan, and a few other people in this film. It was kind of like a like apocalypse sort of thing. So anyways, my brother's not there at this party, but I was there with a bunch of, I'm sure you guys were probably there too, but as I was leaving, I'd had a lot to drink there, you know, like kind of free drinks and all that stuff, so I'm drinking, and I see a guy walking towards me, and I'm like, oh, that's the guy that's in my brother's film, Dominic. So I'm like, hey, Dom! Hey, man, hey, Dom! And the guy's just not really at first not really like saying anything, and I'm like, Dom! Hey! And he's kind of doing this, and then when he gets about 4 or 5 steps closer, I'm like, that's not Dominic Monaghan, that's Billy Boyd from Lord of the Rings, you know, like, because they're sort of not interchangeable, but you picture them like together. And I knew that Dominic was there at the festival because I knew that they were there for the movie and stuff. So he's still walking towards me, and I'm like, hey, I guess before it kind of clicked in, I said something like, hey, yeah, you're doing a movie with my brother and all this stuff, and he's like, and that's when it sort of clicked in, and I was like, oh shit, and then I was like, oh no, I was talking to, no, sorry, I thought you were some, like this kind of shit, and he's just like, yeah, and the reason, and I was just like mortified, and I, oh my god, what the fuck, because it always happens to me where people think that I'm my brother, and people are like, hey, and it's just like, no, and it's not that big a deal, but to have it on the reverse, but they're not actually brothers. They don't even look that much alike, but just you kind of put them together, and I was like, oh, fuck. And there's all sorts of people around watching, like it's a party, so there's people milling about. And I felt like a fucking idiot.
Wow.
Yeah.
Those moments are really hard to save stuff. Like you won't remember this, but the movie The Day actually was at TIFF.
Yeah.
And like I don't know how you get out of these situations, but there's a character in it, Michael Eklund.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so like you saw that screen at TIFF because. Like I sort of met you at that point, I went and I thought you were him in it.
Oh.
So I was going to walk up to Drew, and I was like, I was about to go. I had this whole thing going like, you were great in this movie, and then I was like, and then right away like I think I was starting to do a conversation with you as him, and you're like, that's not me, man. I just like, and so that was one of the few introductions to you. It was just like, how do you get out of those situations?
Well, you're fucked. You
I
just
don't
have to be
remember
like,
that.
The best way is just to be truthful, like, I was way off, man.
messed up. Yeah, so
Completely
just like
messed
you
up.
feel so like, do I want to get out of this, or do you?
If you try to cover, then it just makes it
it's worse because everybody knows what it is, right? So either just like, oops, sorry, or whatever, just, yeah.
But yeah, no. The second you get them, that you leave, you can kind of laugh about it. But until then, you're
No.
I just need to get out.
I didn't laugh till I really got out of there because I'm just like milling about and I was waiting for people and just, it's just that, just mortified, terrible feeling. But
And Jesse, do you have anything?
I embarrass myself so often, like on a daily. So
On the day.
I'm a fall down, bump into, say dumb shit kind of.
Drink for not.
Yeah,
what about foot and mouth though? Because that's the one that's always a killer. Because you fall over. We have all done that. It's kind of like, oh, sorry, all right, but.
Do you know what I'm
foot
thinking
and
of
mouth.
actually is your birthday in Vancouver, which I think you were there for, which is more a caper.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a caper, but remember?
He knows.
I don't know exactly. I just remember
Well,
how
yeah.
intoxicated Jessica was.
No, that's not.
Oh, that's
maybe
not
it's
it?
a different story.
Remember when you were in the bunny suits and you
Yeah,
were
that's a
out
different
okay.
story. That's a different story. We're not telling that story.
You guys are revealing.
Hear about that one later.
Furbies.
Yeah.
All of that's accurate too. None of that's made up. No, for his Aaron and Sean's birthday is over Thanksgiving. So a bunch of us were living in Vancouver at the time, and his family had graciously invited all of the orphans to Thanksgiving dinner with the Ashmore clan, Ashmore Davis clan. And so we were having it at Aaron's grandmother's retirement village because they had like a common room that you could have like meals in, and there was about 25
It was
of us,
just
there
a
was bunch of
condo,
us.
but it was not really a retirement.
But it
thing.
was for older people.
I think there's a lot of people
specifically.
older. No, older people live
Really?
there, but I think it's just a condo building. But yes, there was definitely a lot of older people in that sort of, yeah.
So
That doesn't really matter. Sorry, I'm fucking up. Shut up, Aaron. See, this is gonna be one of those embarrassing things.
It is.
It's working.
Have a
its
chip,
way.
Aaron.
So,
Have a chip.
I was like, what can I do? What can I bring? I want to contribute. And Mrs. Ashmore was like, bring their cake. So I went to a bakery and got like this giant slab fruit cake and like carried it on the
This cake is not
bus.
surviving.
And apparently they wanted fruit cake. I don't know.
No, it wasn't. It was like,
It was like
cake
fruit
that had
on
fruit.
top.
Yeah, not like
Yeah,
a
it
fruit
wasn't
cake,
like-
not
no,
like a
like-
Christmas
Oh,
fruit
okay.
cake. Yeah,
Okay.
No,
that brings
like
up
like a
fruit cake.
vanilla cake with all kinds of fresh fruit all over it and
Okay.
icing. And so we had Thanksgiving
Disgusting.
dinner with the whole family, and then it's time for the cake, and Mrs. Ashmore insists that I carry the cake out to the boys. Which right, no, it's a terrible idea, right? And they know it's a terrible idea because as it's happening and the lights go down, we're like, happy birthday, and I'm carrying it. I can see the terror in both of their faces, and they're like literally motioning for people to help me, and it's not happening.
Spotter. Somebody spotter.
So I get the happy birthday cheer, like hands off, cakes on the table,
Uh-oh.
totally
Everybody's very
fine,
impressed.
everything's good. Boys blow out the candles, and instantly the fire alarm goes off because I put the cake underneath the smoke detector, but it's not like a little beeping it's like a school bell, like ding 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 ding, and that's over the table
Okay.
that is now going off. And instinctively everybody's like fanning it and trying to fix it, and so there's like two people who are trying to stop the bell from ringing because it's so loud, and then someone's standing on the table trying to fan the thing, and then we realize that there are dogs suddenly in the place, and there are dogs running around the table because all of the elderly people have heard the alarm because it's going off throughout the building and are evacuating their homes on Thanksgiving. Do you remember this at all?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and they have to come from multiple floors, and the fire department showed up, and so there's people chasing dogs around the table, there are people standing on the Thanksgiving table, there are people doing the bell, and then there's a whole bunch of elderly people who we're trying to force back into their homes because
False alarm.
there's a false alarm.
False
They
alarm.
didn't believe us, and they're with their walkers and stuff coming out one by one. And
God.
it's just like that's what happens when you invite me to dinner. So it's like a standard.
A birthday dinner.
Yeah, it's like that's like the average embarrassment. I'm constantly setting myself up for like physical comedy.
So for you, that's probably like a 7 on a scale of 10. Like you've probably done a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of.
But that's one
Ones
you
that
didn't
you
actually
can't
tell on
mention,
the
like
camera.
Yeah, we're not
The
telling
ones-
the bunny suit story.
The
'cause
one
that's,
I sort of thought of one, although I wasn't embarrassed at all the time because I don't remember it. But it was at a buddy's cottage on July 1st weekend, and we're drinking and all day, and I'm having these frozen drinks. They're great. My buddy's making them. Towards the end of the day, I go up to where he's making them to help him out, and he's like, put this and this and this, and I'm like, you're not. There's only alcohol in these. You're not putting any juice in or anything. He's like, no. How drunk am I? And then it hit me how drunk I was. I was so drunk. We're around a fire then, we're talking, and they want to play an improv game. These are not actor friends, but they know I do improv. They want to play an improv game. I'm like, word association. So we're playing word association. And then I don't remember anything. But apparently what happened was as they're playing word association, I started making fun of their answers. And I'm being like, it'd be like, bread, butter, and I'd be like, wrong,
So obvious.
jam, and like yelling out what I thought the answer should be for a game whose whole point is just to blurt out whatever comes to mind and it doesn't matter. And then they had to bring me to the washroom, and then they checked on me, and 45 minutes later, and I was in the same position they left me in, except completely naked. Yeah. And so that was, the whole night was just like, I don't remember it at all.
I don't know why. I'm gonna tell
Go
you.
ahead, sell me out.
No. This is.
I got so much on you.
We
it's
got
okay.
2 minutes. We got 2 minutes, Mike.
Yeah.
We have 4 minutes.
Nice.
We'll wrap up. We're
So,
okay. Keep just watching
This is
it.
Jessica was involved with this most embarrassing story of mine. This is probably about 8 or 9 years ago, New Year's.
Oh yeah.
I got
I love
incredibly drunk off of overproof rye. Like somebody brought a bottle, or I had a bottle of
I
overproof
gifted
rye.
it to you for Christmas.
Why?
She felt bad
I
for the
thought
birthday.
you'd like it.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
I thought you'd like it.
So
you could hang up.
pouring drinks, just with. Oh, thanks. Didn't know you were Sally. So drinking overproof, then go to the bar, car bombs, Irish car bombs, all this shit. Probably about like 1 o'clock or so, I sent myself home. I was like, I'm too hammered, I need to go home. So I went home, passed out in bed. The party sort of came back. My brother and some of the guy friends came back, we're hanging out, and then Jessica showed up with 5 or 6 girls. And we're like, hey, where's the party at? Like, party at the place? Great, whatever. Aaron's passed out. So I guess Jessica said to my brother Sean, well, where's Aaron? Oh, he's passed out in bed. He's just like out of control because he put himself to bed. So I guess Jessica was like, well, girls, let's go all jump on Aaron, dogpile him, and wake him up and stuff like that. So I guess 4 or 5 girls, and most of them I didn't know. I think I knew you, and I don't know who else was there.
Maybe Eva, and that's it.
Yeah, and that's it. So all these other girls, and Jessica talked them into like crawling into bed with me. I think everybody piled on, and then everybody was like, we need to get out of here right away. Jessica came out and said to Sean, I think that Aaron may have thrown up in his bed. So I had just barfed all in my bed, all over my desk, all over the place. And at this point,
There's a photo, actually, of all of us in bed with you, and you sort of half conscious with vomit everywhere.
So these girls that I don't know are rolling around in my vomit in my bed on New Year's. I wake up in my boxer shorts, come stumbling out into the party, just covered in barf, being like, what's going on? And stuff. And I'm so hammered that I can't remember what happened first. I think Sean, my brother, kind of came up to me and was like, Sean, Aaron, you need to like take it easy, man. Like, you threw up in bed. We're gonna like throw you in the shower to like hose you down. And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, yeah, dude, like, you barfed all over the place, the girls were jumped on you and stuff. And I got so angry at myself, and I was still so hammered, I punched a hole in my wall, being like, who pukes in his bed and has girls roll around? It's New Year's. Like, punched a hole in the wall, and then I remember being chucked into the shower and hosed off, and I'm just like, what the, so that was another incredibly embarrassing story. But I don't really remember it at the time, but the next morning when you're hammered, and those little things start coming back to you, almost like a dream, and you get that like panic of like, no, oh, what? And then it starts coming back to you, and I remembered everything, and I was like,
wow, oh no. I was lucky. I didn't remember a single thing. I only know the stories. It might be all false. They might have been lying to me.
But they can take advantage of you in that.
They can.
And now you're like, there's a hole in the wall because of you.
Yeah. I had that.
I'm such an awkward guy. Like, I don't drink at all, but like, that's probably a good thing, or else there'd be holes in the wall, or I'd be
Don't do it. Don't overproof Ryan.
Today was a lot of fun, guys. David, where can people reach you online in the social media? Do you know what social media is?
I do. I guess at David Tompa on Twitter.
They don't have to. If
and
you're
there's
selling
I have a web.
Are you gonna set up your account today? Because
Yeah,
it
no,
like it's like maybe that's
it's already set up. I
should
just
set
don't
up.
really use it. But there's I guess there's I have a website officially, but davidtompa.com, which is not well maintained.
It sounds like an amazing site to me. Right now. Like,
and yeah, I'm on Instagram, Tatompa.
Tompa, okay.
T-A Tompa, Tatompa, like Tatanka from Dances with Wolves. So yeah, that's how you can reach me, I suppose.
I can't wait for people to check it out for you because you made it.
Or go to makingfunnystuff.ca
Yeah.
and watch some of that ridiculous humor that we do. It's funny.
Aaron, where can the?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at Aaron. I think it's Aaron_Ashmore, or maybe it's just Aaron R Ashmore. I can't remember, but it's a picture of me, so you'll know that it's me. And I tweet at people. I usually tweet back. I don't do a lot of funny stuff like up front, but I love sending snarky asshole comments back to people when they say stuff to me. So if you'd like to be snarked at, please send me something. Yeah.
You might get if David Tompa ever goes back to Twitter, you can make
Tatanka.
Tatompa.
Yes.
I'm new. I'm newly on here. I'm all over the social media suddenly, which is exciting to do.
Tell us about your Facebook experience.
I'm on Facebook. I have like 200 friends.
How long did it take you to get on?
Everyone at this table I'm friends with at Facebook. We're going to be friends soon.
Mike will be friends with her.
It's going to happen.
You already are.
Aw, like real people. I am on the Twitter for the Jessica Greco, and I'm on the Instagram under Jessie Greco. Yeah, I'm blowing it up.
You sound proud of all this?
I kind of am, actually.
I did it.
I
Like,
did.
kinda like that.
It took me a long
But you
time.
and me, I've just killed
But
this
I
thing.
am officially part of the social networking system.
Well, I feel like you'll get some interesting tweets coming at you soon. possibly for Mike or whoever. Drew Nelson.
Yeah,
Where can these
I'm on both. I'm on Instagram.
See, he knew right away. He's selling Drew Nelson.
He's done this.
Yeah,
before.
he's.
No, you got to. You can get me on Instagram at Drew Nelly, Nellly, and I'm on Twitter under @Drew Nelson Live.
Live tweets all the time.
Yeah, I tweet quite a bit. You know, keep people informed and.
He retweeted one of my tweets.
I retweet
Nice.
quite a lot too. Yeah,
You
a lot of-
tweeted, you
lot of
did
good
it,
tweets
yeah.
out
I've done a few, but yeah, I don't really know what the point is. But yeah.
So don't follow David Tompa.
And what about you, Lindsay?
Do what you want.
What's the deal?
Yeah, how do we follow you?
At the Lindsay Lewis, you know,
Yeah.
I try to do funny stuff, you know, just because like at the end of the day, I don't want to type a tweet like out to buy milk, tea,
No.
you know, like
No.
like
No,
yeah.
nobody gives a
It
shit.
tickles
about
me.
Yeah, just to get milk, but yeah, I just like just zany stuff that comes to the top of your head. I
Someone
think
knows
it's
you
supposed
got
to be fun. But yeah, no, guys, this was a lot of fun today.
Thanks
Yeah,
for the
thanks,
snack.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
Thanks
like
for having
the
us.
snack.
I think people learned a little bit today. We learned that Drew Nelson is a big fan of Meryl Streep on that toilet, which led to David Tompa's favorite word of poo.
Poo with a P. It's not as funny if it's just poo. It's kind of funny, but poop is like the truth.
We've learned Aaron has a new brother and me.
Yes.
And that your dad left you when you couldn't make that shot. We learned that Drew and Aaron could not win a T-shirt because they weren't even in contention apparently
Yeah.
for Mike's choice.
That's
And
fine.
Jessica, we learned that you like to drink, have a good time, and probably have some awkward stories, which is probably why you avoided social media for a while.
That's exactly why I supported social media for so long.
right.
So, and David, most importantly, what's on you right now is not a vest, but is the next best thing. It's the winner of T-shirt monologue
For today.
for today. Until
Is there gonna be like a
Like-
best of?
Do you ask for that back and then give it out to the next person, or is it he gets to
No,
keep
it's
this?
it's up to
like-
David what happens next with it.
I took the tag off.
It's his shirt.
Oh, man.
You earned that shirt with your acting.
Amazing.
That's the power of acting.
That's the only award I'll ever get.
The clothes on the back.
So guys, thanks for watching. I hope everyone had a good time, learned a little bit, laughed a lot, and follow them all on Twitter and all that. And until I see you next time, I'll see you when I see you. And Mom, thanks for watching.
Aw, Mom.
I thought we were gonna clap.